What's up, guys? This is the guy.
And the other guy. And we are back with another Sports Matrix podcast episode. How are you guys doing, ladies and gentlemen? We're doing pretty good.
I hope you guys are doing great out in the streets. It's a crazy time for the world, but a good thing for us. We can go watch some sports. There's a lot going on with football, baseball, basketball is coming up soon. So fall is the most popping time of the year for sports. So we're going to get into some topics and talk about last weekend's game. Did you catch the USC Notre Dame game? I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole game.
Same, because, so the Mizzou-Kentucky game was also on that night.
Yeah,
so
that was another game, yeah.
That was
two ranked teams.
Yeah. Two ranked teams, and actually Missouri wasn't ranked. Kentucky was 24 at that time. Now it's reversed, but
yeah, Mizzou's better. Even though Kentucky was still ranked, they got killed by Georgia. And I think Mizzou, if Mizzou plays Georgia tomorrow, they're gonna give much more of a greater fight.
Yeah.
Also Vanderbilt. They only lost to Georgia by 17.
They did.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And they also, Auburn, South Carolina almost beat them. I think even Georgia, there was another really bad team that they only beat by 20, which is
Who was it? They're probably Alabama, Birmingham or something like that.
Yeah, some really low college or something.
But they're held to such a high standard because they are the two-time defending champs. Another thing with Georgia that's going to hurt them their tight end Brock Bowers is out for 4 to 6 games. So.
Oh, they said 4 to 6 games?
From what I saw.
How much is that? 4 weeks then?
Unless they have a bye week coming up, I don't know. But it should be at least 4 games or something.
So he doesn't have to go against Mizzou, which is great.
And Georgia's also playing Tennessee and Ole Miss. So if they don't have Brock Bowers, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost to one of those teams because those are pretty good teams.
You said they're playing Tennessee and Ole Miss?
Yeah, and the rest of their schedule. They got the hard part of their schedule coming up, and they got Brock Bowers out. He's a huge difference maker for their offense. So
he's one of the best receivers they have. Well, also because
he's crazy. He should be a Heisman candidate. Oh, he got hurt now, but before that, he should have been a Heisman candidate.
He's a Heisman candidate.
He was, but it's pretty much a quarterback award at this point. It's who's the best quarterback?
I think once in a while, a running back or a wide receiver will win it, but that's once in a blue moon.
Like a Devontae Smith or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Somebody. Oh, wait. Devontae Smith won? Where did he go to school?
He went to Bama.
Of course he did.
He won it in 2020 during COVID.
And now he's probably the Eagles.
Or Derrick Henry when he won the Heisman. For example, that's another example.
Derrick Henry's he was, and he's still absolutely nuts.
Bro, because Christian McCaffrey was in college too. He was the second runner-up. When they got Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey were both insane that year.
He was a runner-up.
He was.
Well, because where did Christian McCaffrey go?
He went to Stanford.
Oh, so he was one of the big boys.
Yeah, Stanford, yeah.
He's one of the educational guys.
It was kind of funny, though, because the way they would talk about Stanford, McCaffrey, because he went to Stanford, they would talk about his tape, they're like, yeah, this guy's such a sharp guy, he goes to Stanford, he runs great routes. It's the way they talk about, white and black athletes. That sometimes it's just kind of, stereotypical sometimes.
Well, yeah,
they read the routes so well. That's how they talk about McCaffrey.
They're because he goes to this institution, the institution taught him how to play football.
He's an anomaly, though. There hasn't been another, Caucasian running back ever, his level. He's insane.
Not even close.
Even a black runner, he's just crazy.
I think there have been one or two NFL running backs that were really good that were Caucasian, but very few.
It's very rare. It's cornerbacks are pretty rare too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even it's just interesting because I know Peyton Thorne's black, but
he's not black.
He is.
You talking about the quarterback, Rob?
Oh, yeah, I thought he was mixed, but I could be wrong. Yeah, no, he's.
Well, Peyton Thorne. He went to Naperville.
He went to Naperville Central, yeah.
And Michigan State.
Yeah,
he's a white dude.
He was one of those guys that I think they paid him to come to Naperville Central.
A lot of scandals going on, especially with Michigan and their sign stealing.
Yeah, what do you think of Michigan right now?
I don't even know.
Investigated.
I got to do more research. From what I've heard, it's more just they're spying on their opponents, and just seeing what plays they're running so they know what to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Who knows what these teams are doing behind the scenes? It sounds I feel a lot of teams would kind of do something like that. Yeah. But if you're caught, then obviously that's bad. And they are playing Michigan State soon, so I don't know. Hopefully, something happens and their starting lineup gets benched so Michigan State could have a chance.
Here's
I don't know.
This is crazy to me because most of Michigan's opponents have been dog shit. So they literally they're running they're stealing signs on Indiana or
Ohio.
Nebraska.
If they're playing Ohio State and Penn State, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're playing Purdue or Rutgers has been their best opponent so far.
That's kind of sad.
I'm not even kidding, bro. Because Nebraska, Indiana, Minnesota, they got destroyed them.
Yeah.
Rutgers they beat by 24, so they beat them pretty good, but they didn't it wasn't a 40 ball or anything.
Yeah. Rutgers, which is probably what people thought would have been the worst option, actually.
Yeah.
To take the best option against Michigan.
Yeah, we're not going to know how good Michigan is, like we've said this before, until they play Penn State. Speaking of which, Ohio State, Penn State. That's a great game. That's going to be hard to decide who's going to win.
That's the thing. If they end up stealing, which I mean I don't know how they would at this point, but like if they somehow stole against one of those teams and they won by 20, then you know something's up.
That's very suspicious. Yeah, because like they're at like a somewhat equal playing field.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if Penn State beats Ohio State at the shoe. Then because they play Michigan at home, they're gonna have so much confidence. They're gonna be like, okay, we beat Ohio State. We can play with you guys.
Yeah.
And they're at Happy Valley, which is like arguably the hardest place to play.
Is Happy Valley their stadium? Penn State.
Yeah, for Penn State. Yeah.
Happy Valley. If they beat Ohio State, it's probably not gonna be so happy for their fans.
Yeah, like like the whiteout game and everything they do at Penn State.
Which whiteout game?
I know they wear all white.
What? Because their logo is blue and white. I don't know what like their mascot is.
It's a Nittany Lion.
It's a lion?
Yeah, like they're called the Nittany Lions, so it's like a lion, I guess.
Mindy Lion?
Nittany.
Nittany? What's a Nittany? Nittany.
I don't know. But
Nittany Lion.
Their team name is the Nittany Lions, though.
Nittany Lions.
It's kind of a weird name.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, at least it's different than like it because like Mizzou, Auburn. There's a million teams.
They're all Tigers. Or Bulldogs.
LSU's the Tigers. Well, speaking of which, yeah. Our one loss was by 10 against LSU, who was like top 10. And we were like top 20 at that point. So when we lost by 10 to LSU, we somehow became unranked. I don't understand.
Yeah, that was kind of bogus, though, because like you guys lost by like not that much.
Literally, by 10. And we were winning that game early on.
And Kentucky, they should have gotten unranked after they got destroyed by Georgia. They were...
Saying, I know they're... Well, because it's Georgia versus LSU, but they're still both great teams. Like, honestly, wait, did they play?
LSU, like... They lost pretty bad to Florida State.
Yeah, they just don't have a defense.
I didn't know about their defense being bad.
Yeah. Well, Jaden Daniels is a beast, and they have a really good receiving. They're like two of their receivers are like top draft picks.
I thought one of the best defensive players was on LSU, like Harold Perkins, I think his name is.
Yeah, like they got one or two guys.
Maybe in general they're pretty bad.
Yeah, like for example, literally, like we were beating them the first 2 quarters, and then their defense started stepping up, and we also were kind of picking like Brady Cook, our quarterback, was picking favorites. So like
he wasn't spreading the ball around that much.
He wasn't. Well, Luther Burton's our guy, and the past like 3 games, teams have started double teaming him, and especially against LSU. Like at the end, you constantly tried to throw to him, it just wasn't working. Even though we have Theo Weiss, who's an Oklahoma transfer, he's been a beast for us. He's our beat. Yeah, he's our second best option. He's a beast.
The transfer portal has done a lot of good for a lot of teams. Like a lot of like schools that are not necessarily like the blue bloods, like. They've been like Missouri, for example. Like before transfer portal, Missouri was not really competitive at all, and now they're cooking. Like that's interesting.
We're not nearly as good. Also, Drakowitz, our coach, is a great recruiter. That's awesome. A lot of Missouri fans praise him for that. Because like for example, Luther Burton was a 5-star, and we got him through and even some of these other guys. Where'd he go to school? Out
of high school or from
Out of high school. I don't know which high school he went. Like, because we got him as a freshman. He was.
So he didn't transfer. He already committed to Missouri. Okay.
He was cooking.
I've never heard of him last year. I should have known.
Well, he's only a sophomore this year, and he's putting up one of the best SEC stat lines as a wide receiver. So. By the time he becomes a senior, like...
Do you think he's a candidate for the Biletnikoff? I don't know how to say it, but like the wide receiver award, the Biletnikoff award?
Possibly. Is that for the SEC or for...
It's for like the best receiver in the country. There's a lot of guys like Marvin Harrison Jr., Keon Coleman, who transferred from Michigan State to Florida State. His stats are insane. 29 catches and I believe 7 touchdowns.
He's crazy.
Keon Coleman, he's like Randy Moss in it out there, so he's really good.
Yeah. Don't the Colts have, the Indianapolis Colts have they have somebody named Moss on there, like Zach Moss or something like that?
Well, Randy Moss's son, Thaddeus Moss, played for LSU.
Is he in the NFL or no?
I think he might be. He was a tight end. I don't know where he is in the NFL, but he played with Joe Burrow at LSU.
That's what I was wondering if he was.
So he might be at the Colts. I don't know. It might be him.
Man, Randy Moss delivering new fresh NFL franchise blood.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. What other matchups we got on here?
Yeah, I was going to mention real quickly. If LSU didn't have 2 losses, I actually think Jaden Daniels would be the leading Heisman guy.
You probably would.
But Michael Penix, I think, in my opinion, Michael Penix is the leader.
Well, so they lost to Florida State. Who else did LSU lose?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah.
Michael Penix for Washington. Did you watch Washington, Oregon? That was another great game.
I haven't been watching Washington, but I know they've been doing really well.
Washington Oregon game came down to the wire, and Oregon missed a field goal, so they won.
I saw that. Yeah,
that was a crazy game.
Yeah, really close. Well, also, Washington State got destroyed by Arizona. That was a huge upset.
Bro, Arizona's cooking, bro.
They are cooking. They could be one of the best teams in the Pac-12.
Yeah, that's crazy. Pac-12 is crazy, but
yeah. Oh, sorry. One more thing I forgot. Speaking of Stanford, I forgot to mention about Colorado double overtime.
Bro, we've been saying college football's getting pretty crazy. Compared to other years, bro, it's kind of crazy this year.
Again, it reminds me of that Pat McAfee quote one time. He was like, it was on his show, and he's like, he was like naming like a couple, like for example, was the Ohio State Notre Dame game is that week. He was like, these 3 or 4 games are why I'm like, thank God it's college.
Yeah, football.
College football is back.
You're bound to miss a good matchup because there's just so much you can watch.
Well, literally. Here's why I complain sometimes though, is because I get 5 or 6 college games in a row on my TV, and then I go into the NFL and I get 2.
That same thing happens to me. Yeah,
it's great.
Because I want to watch more NFL matchups, but there's only 1 or 2. And at college you can watch 5 though.
I know they have Game Day Live, but it's just not the same.
But anyway, we could talk about USC Notre Dame. Yeah. USC finally got exposed. They lost by 28 points, 48-20.
Yeah.
To Notre Dame. Their defense is just so bad. If their defense matched their offense, they could probably be a top 3 team. But
yeah,
their defense is just so bad.
So it's that's the thing. I know Caleb Williams was playing really bad in the first half, but
he threw some interceptions, right?
Yeah, he threw. Well, he threw 3 picks, I think, by the end of the first quarter. Or not the first quarter. He threw 2 by the end of the first quarter. I think 3 by the end of the first half.
That's pretty bad.
But yeah, they were started because it was 30-7 or something. It was really bad at the beginning, but then USC started putting up some points. But yeah, and that's the thing is I'm not trying to say Caleb Williams is the greatest of all time, but there wasn't a lot he could have done.
Yeah, it's I don't know how good the Notre Dame defense is, to be honest. They did pretty good against Ohio State.
That's what I'm wondering.
So they're pretty good, but they're nothing crazy.
Yeah.
The thing that I thought was funny is that there was a fan that ran onto the field, because I was at Notre Dame. It was a Notre Dame fan ran off the field, and he was running a 4.340. He was going crazy for all the clout. He was ran up to Caleb Williams. He was like, "Let me see them fingernail painting, bro." And I actually give respect to Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams took it like a champ. He didn't get mad. He just kind of walked it off, A lot of them guys, if that happens to you, a lot of guys could be fuck off,
That's what I was worried
about. But Caleb Williams
would get mad about.
I'm not the biggest Caleb Williams fan, but I give him respect for that, because in this day and age, you could get mad at that shit,
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, also because especially college football, it's so heated sometimes. We were talking off the podcast, me and Luke. We were talking about the Michigan State Michigan game last year, where literally
the helmet, yeah.
One of the players was just after the game. Well, because you were saying the Michigan State, because I didn't actually see this. I just heard about it, but then I did my own research and stuff.
Yeah.
The Michigan player, you were saying the Michigan player that he comes out
he went to the. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're good. Tell it.
So pretty much what happened is last year, Michigan State played at Michigan, and Michigan won the game. They won the game on field goals. They didn't really destroy the team. They won by maybe 15 or 20, so they won, but it wasn't crazy. Michigan is a huge stadium. They have one tunnel because it was built so long ago. Michigan State players were walking back into the tunnel. Pretty much all the Michigan players were celebrating on the field. And then I think 1 or 2 of them ran in the tunnel and started taunting the Michigan State players. And then Michigan State players started swinging, and one guy started beating another guy with his helmet, which is too far. Obviously.
I'm thinking of also because it's 2 guys. Yeah, you're saying 1 to 2 guys. They just walk into a mob.
But at the same time, it's
nothing's gonna happen.
But at the same time, on those 2 Michigan guys, or the 1 Michigan guy, or I can't remember how many there were, but bro, just celebrate with your teammates. You don't gotta go taunting the other team. I understand it's a rivalry game, but just chill on the field with the boys. That's
they're not in the tunnel for a reason.
Yeah, just celebrate. You won the Paul Bunyan. Just celebrate with your teammates. You don't gotta run out to Michigan State. Michigan State's already a 500 team. You really think if you're gonna run out to them and just start talking they don't got anything to lose.
Well, that's not
Michigan State didn't have anything to lose. They were a 500 team, or they were even worse.
Right. Yeah. And also I wonder the first people who made the first set of players who made this a rivalry, they probably wouldn't be happy with guys just going to the tunnel, just talking shit and all this stuff. Enjoy, you're saying, enjoy your win. Act like you won before. But yeah. Obviously, there's a bunch of matchups we got to get into. So
yeah, there's a couple of college football matchups coming up this weekend. I'm very excited for Penn State, Ohio State.
I'm watching
at Ohio State. That's a big noon game. That's probably going to be. It might be the best game of the year. Also, there's been so many good games Oklahoma, Texas, Oregon, Washington. But this is really legitimately almost a top 5 matchup. This is number 3 Ohio State versus number 7 Penn State at Ohio State, and this is a very interesting matchup for 2 reasons. I think it's very interesting because Penn State, they want to get rid of the notion of that they're the third best team in the Big Ten because it's been Michigan and Ohio State the whole time.
Facts.
And then I think for Ohio State is that they want to prove that they're a legit offense without CJ Stroud. I think it's going to be a very good matchup. And whoever wins that game, it's going to be interesting because Michigan's going to play them in the next couple of weeks, both those teams too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I haven't been following Ohio State football that much. How good are they without CJ Stroud?
I mean, they're still really good. Like, they're not like, obviously it's Ohio State. They're always going to be a good team, but their identity is just different. Like, they got Kyle McCord at quarterback, who's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
It's just his first year starting, so there's a lot of question marks. Mm-hmm. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. They got a really good receiving core.
Yeah.
Their defense is pretty good, too. And they did beat Notre Dame, so they have proven that they can win big games.
Yeah.
It's more interesting because Penn State, like, they're just on the upswing. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. It's so hard to predict who's going to win this game. I want Penn State to win, but it's so hard. I don't know if I can even make a prediction because it's like it could go either way, bro.
That's it. They're both very, very good teams, but I think Penn State's just more consistent. Ohio State plays better in big games.
And that's another thing. Penn State hasn't played anyone good yet.
Yeah, who was like the best team they played? So because the Big Ten is just
Iowa. Maybe Iowa.
But they destroyed Iowa, didn't they? Wait, didn't they beat them like
31-0?
Oh, I thought who's the team they beat like 63-7 or something? Oh Lord!
I don't know why they're playing UMass. They're prepping for Ohio State by playing UMass. Like what?
Yeah, I
guess they're just doing some reps.
Well, because don't all the bad games. I mean, besides if you're a team like Michigan who just plays terrible teams all year, but like don't all the terrible teams? Shouldn't all the terrible teams start with the first 3 games in the season? That's how it usually should be.
Yeah, that's usually how it is. Like they play non-conference first 3 to 4 games, and then they start playing like the average teams, and they work into the good teams.
But at least like a lot of SEC teams, like it's like that. They'll play like some random college from gosh.
Yeah, a lot of the Power 5 schools, like the first 3 games, they'll play like non-Power 5 schools or 4 games or so.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. If you're a big school, you'll play. Yeah, like you're saying, if you're a big school, like it's more structured, like who you play. Kind of by competition.
And that's like another thing is like, you can obviously say that Michigan plays a bad schedule or like Georgia plays a bad schedule, but at the same time, you got to think they're like the top teams in the country. So like pretty much 90 to 95% of the teams they play, even if they're D1 teams, there's going to be a mismatch because they're just the best teams.
That's true.
That's another perspective you can look at it from.
Well, but unless like you know what they're doing now, where they're bringing all the best teams and putting them in 2 conferences.
Yeah.
I mean, even the SEC, like Oklahoma, Texas, they just joined. Like
or they don't even have like they don't like in conference play doesn't really matter. Like for example, Notre Dame, they've had a really hard schedule. I give them credit, even though I don't like Notre Dame.
They have had a hard schedule.
4 ranked opponents in a row because I don't think they're even part of a conference. They're like an independent, right?
What I thought they were in a conference.
Or they're either that or they're ACC. But I think
I thought they were in the ACC, but you could be right. I have no idea.
I think for football, they're like independent. Like they do their own shit.
Yeah. I thought they
might change it though.
I thought there was an independent conference, right? Like where a bunch of like other teams that didn't really fit in they all just created one conference and just played each other. I thought that might have been.
I don't even know. That sounds like some Super League shit right there. Like in soccer when they were into the Super League or whatever.
Like what the Champions League where they bring all the best teams.
Champions League is like pretty much a playoff Super League, yeah.
Yeah.
But another game I actually think was going to be very interesting is Florida State versus Duke because that's actually like Florida State's kind of first real test besides LSU.
Well, Duke, who did they play?
Duke ranked number 16.
Yeah, who did they? They almost they beat their last opponent.
They beat Clemson pretty good.
Yeah, who's that unranked team that they beat last week? It wasn't by a lot.
I don't know. They barely lost to Notre Dame though.
Wait, they barely lost to Notre Dame.
So they're not a bad team. They're a good team.
Again, like it's interesting. I know we were talking about this a while ago, but how all these like top tier basketball schools are now starting to become like ranked football schools. Like UNC is undefeated. Are they still undefeated?
North Carolina is good. They're number 10. I like Drake May. I think he's going to be a very good NFL quarterback. He's like a pro style kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like to your point, like I actually saw a thing on YouTube where like I remembered like you said this because I didn't think about this. I give you credit for saying this. You were saying like think about it. UCLA. They might not. I think they're still ranked, but it was UCLA, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky. First time those 5 schools were ranked in like decades, I think.
That's crazy.
Which is like very interesting.
I thought Kentucky was ranked last year though.
Well, all 5 of those.
Yeah. Oh, at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Kentucky's basketball's fallen off a cliff. I'm not gonna lie. Even
Duke too.
John Calipari. Because they still don't have who's the Mike? What's his
Kansas
name?
is good. Kansas is just really good.
I know Mike. What's his name? Stepped down. That's probably why they're not good.
For what?
Duke's basketball, but you know.
Oh, Krzyzewski.
Krzyzewski is a legendary coach. Yeah.
It's gonna be like when Tom Izzo leaves Michigan State. It's gonna be like, dang, it's gonna be hard to replace that guy.
True. I wish Alabama's coach would leave because then
it's gonna be hard.
Their basketball coach because he's also really good. He's
getting they're Alabama basketball. I forgot they're actually good.
They're great. Yeah. They went the opposite way almost. I mean, they're still
another football's still good, but like it's like they're ranked number 11.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They're just not as good as they're not
for their standard. Used to be. For their standard, but they're still a number 11 team in the country. It's like Alabama fans are just like. They're kind of like the Patriots.
They're so spoiled. They're so spoiled. Like they've just gotten great team after great team, and
they don't know.
But I wonder like if it's going to keep continuing since they're just always going to have good recruits.
I think the transfer portal is another reason why Alabama's not as good, is because like it's more of an even playing field now.
Yeah, more diverse. Except that a lot of people are still going to Georgia.
But Georgia ain't playing too great, like we said earlier. Like they don't look like the number 1 team in the country, at least to me.
I just think they're like the Chiefs. Like they're like one of those teams everybody thinks they're like so much better than every other team. But how are you almost losing to Kentucky? Or I mean, I know they beat Kentucky, but how are you almost losing?
Auburn, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. They played so much.
Vanderbilt. You only beat Vanderbilt by 20. Come on.
Yeah, that's how you know you're good. Like when you beat a team by 17, and people are like, "Wow, you're bad."
Literally.
But it's like the standard, like you said.
Yeah. Well, but Vanderbilt, especially this year, they fell off a cliff in football.
Yeah, they're like 2-6 now, 2-5.
I mean, I know we got the Vanderbilt all around, but
yeah, they're in the SEC, so they got to play tough teams. So that's how it is.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. They're just in a really hard comp. Like if Vanderbilt was in like
Big Ten, they wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, Big Ten, they'd probably be a top 5 team in there,
or like middle of the road kind of team.
In the Big Ten, I mean, besides obviously the big 3, who else is really like?
I think Wisconsin and Iowa and Maryland could be better than them.
Maryland's kind of going up, right? And Wisconsin's kind of going down, at least from what I've seen.
Well, Maryland lost to Illinois, so they kind of choked a little bit. Iowa beat Wisconsin barely, and Iowa's ranked, which I don't agree with. I don't think Iowa's good enough to be ranked. But
and again, they got killed by Penn State. I mean,
I don't think Iowa's a ranked team. No, but like, I mean, they're top like 30-40 team. They're kind of like one of the really good teams that's like not ranked, but they're good.
There's so many teams you could put in that 26-31 spot.
There is,
it's insane.
There is. I think it's Clemson have 1 or 2 losses.
Are they another one of those teams that are just like they almost should be ranked, but they shouldn't be ranked?
Kind of. It's another team like that.
Especially because Clemson, like
I used to say Maryland, but Maryland lost to Illinois, which is kind of bad.
Is that a fluke? You think that was a fluke, though?
I think Texas A&M is kind of one of those teams.
Dude, Texas A&M, they almost beat... Well, because interestingly, I was going to bring up Texas A&M earlier because they almost beat Tennessee.
Florida's another team like that, too.
Yeah.
Florida's good.
Well, Florida, they still have Florida still has a decent quarterback. Tennessee, like, they lost everything after Hendon Hooker.
That was one of the L's. I remember from the beginning of the year, I thought Tennessee and Clemson were going to be, like, top 10 teams. I was very off on that. But it's hard to tell. I mean, like, who knows?
Yeah. I thought Tennessee.
I was mostly correct. I was mostly correct with my predictions. You can't win them all.
Yeah. Well, your football predictions, like literally, like you've been like right on like more than half of the games already. So like.
Yeah, most of the time. I got the Oklahoma-Texas prediction wrong, and I got the Notre Dame.
Yeah, did you get Ohio State and Notre Dame, which is like, I mean,
a lot of people thought Notre Dame was
going to go either way.
Yeah.
Like,
and same with the Oklahoma-Texas one. It's like. Oklahoma, like, I did not see that shit coming. I mean, I knew they were ranked number 12 team in the country, but, like, I did not know. Because I've seen Texas play, and Texas looked really good. So I guess it's probably because I probably had bias because I didn't watch Oklahoma play. That's what it was.
Well, that's the thing. I just haven't watched Texas play a lot, so I thought they weren't as good as, like, what people have been saying they're, like, as good as. I know they got a new coach. And
they're still really, really good. Yeah. I mean, the top 9 is, like, I think...
It's competitive.
Top 9, and then North Carolina's number 10. It gets a little less competitive, but the top 9 is, like, it's a free-for-all.
True, yeah. That's actually interesting, yeah. Well, like, then wouldn't there be more teams that would be in the 10 to 15 range that'd be really good since the top 9 is so competitive?
I mean, like, they're really good, but I feel like once you get to, like, 10, like, you go to North Carolina, Alabama, Oregon State, Ole Miss, Utah, then it kind of gets like, okay, it's not as competitive.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they're still really good teams. Like, I think, like...
It's not as close, though.
Utah's one of those teams that, like, they're so close. They're so close.
Well, their quarterback was hurt, so once he comes back, who knows what could happen.
Oh, yeah, maybe that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Then Oregon State, like, they're good, but they're just not, like, at that elite level yet.
Yeah. Well, I thought they'd be a team like Washington State, but they're better than Washington.
Oh, they're better. They lost, though, surprisingly, but they're still better, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like it actually reminds me of, like, way back in the day, like, this was a little bit off topic, but, like, for Fortnite, like, there was always, like, those...
I'm sorry,
I know, it sounds completely off topic, but it's, like, it kind of... Literally, well, it kind of goes back to, like, the... Because, like, guys would be like, oh, this Fortnite player like destroyed this player if they face, but you wouldn't know because that player could be having a bad day or
Ninja. Wasn't Ninja always just winning though?
Listen, Ninja was one of those guys like he was clearly the best, but then you get guys like Myth or like Hamlins and like there all those like B tier like Fortnite players that were like really really good. They just weren't, or like Daquan. They were all just like so close, but they weren't like on Ninja's level.
Ninja was just like the Nick Saban of the game.
Literally, like another guy like T.
He was like Tom Brady and Belichick or something.
Literally, well, he was just on top of the world for a while, but then
he's from Illinois, right?
He was from
Grays Lake or something like that.
It was like an hour away from like Chicago.
I don't know jack shit about Fortnite, but I know who Ninja is. That's just goes to show how much of a legend this dude is.
Yeah, well, he was everywhere because he also played with like all the big
very
guys.
Famous
like,
guy.
He had that. What was that squad lineup he had with like Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Scott. There's like he had like one other big famous guy.
That's crazy. I know he played with Travis Scott. I think.
Yeah, I think he's played with like a bunch of rappers and stuff. Like it's
kind of like Aiden Ross.
Drake, yeah,
it's like the Aiden Ross of Fortnite because Aiden Ross is a streamer and he hangs out with all the rappers and stuff.
Facts. Yeah, yeah literally. And I know Aiden Ross, Bronny Jr. played at one point. Like they all had a squad at one point. Like yeah. But that second tier of like Fortnite players, like it was super competitive and you really couldn't tell who win. Like there'd be guys that'd be like somewhat better, but like yeah, if they had like an off day or like if they just
weren't
feeling well, like there's just gonna be depending on the situation. It's more depending on the situation rather than like
there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many factors that come into like especially like depending on who wins and in the NCAA. Like for example, like this week, what if? I mean, obviously, there could be obvious situations like one of the players gets injured or something. But, like, also, like, what if Ohio State's just not feeling there? Like, what if, I don't know, Penn State is, like, just, they're just not wanting to defend their home or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, there could just be different factors. Yeah, you're saying factors, motivations.
And another thing, Florida State, Duke, the starting quarterback for Duke, Riley Leonard, his question was, if he plays, it's going to be pretty interesting. But if he's hurt and the backup quarterback's playing, then I think Florida State's probably most likely just going to wash him.
Yeah.
Because their quarterback for Duke is really good, Riley Leonard.
Well, that's the thing. And, like, if they decide to play him, he's probably not going to be as good as he
He's, like, hurt, I think. So it's, like, questionable.
Exactly. Well, if you're questionable, you're just not... Yeah, like, because he probably just won't be as effective depending on where he gets injured.
I like Florida State. I don't know how good their defense is, but their offense is so good. Like, Jordan Travis, Keon Coleman...
Well, that's the thing, because I thought they'd be another team like USC if their offense wasn't good, but
they have to have a pretty good defense. They're definitely not like a USC kind of team.
Exactly, yeah. But also they haven't had that test. Like, and you were saying
I think LSU's been their hardest test.
Yeah, because I thought when does LSU play Georgia? That's gonna be another big test.
I don't know if they're playing or not.
I know they're playing at some. I think because they're in the SEC.
Who do you think would win between Florida State and North Carolina? That'd be pretty interesting. Because North Carolina is actually pretty good.
See, I think I could tell you, like, after they play Duke. I really think I could tell you after.
That's true, because, like, North Carolina, like, Drake May and their offense, and their defense, too. Like, they're 6-0 for the first time since, I think, the 90s.
It's been a long time.
I like the Tar Heels football, but the fact that they're good, I think that's pretty raw.
Dude, I need to watch some... I have not been watching enough Tar Heels football. Like,
I think I've watched one of their games, and you know how some people... Are you familiar with Drake May, right? The quarterback for North Carolina?
I'm actually not. I've heard of... I think I've heard of him, but I'm just not super familiar.
A lot of people have said, like, the last year or two that he's, like, overrated. This is kind of like me like kind of being like a little tooting my own horn a little bit, but like I was like, I don't think he's overrated. I think he's North Carolina. They don't have a lot of weapons around him. I think he's going to be a very good pro quarterback, and he's an unbelievable quarterback. Like he's probably top 3 to 5 quarterback in the country. But he's one of those quarterbacks like a C.J. Stroud, where like he was really good in college, but like in the NFL, like it's more suited for him.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like Josh Allen, too. Like Josh Allen, the NFL is more suited for him.
Although Josh Allen has been very inconsistent this year.
I did see that he was top 5 in passing yards, though.
Yeah, well, because he's a chucker,
dude.
True. He can just whip up like a 60, 70-yarder.
Well, like, you know what I mean? Like, the last couple of years, Josh Allen's been like a top 5 quarterback. You know, he's been really good.
I thought the Bills were going to win the Super Bowl last year.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, like,
he's more NFL than college.
Yeah. Well, where did Daniel Jones go to college?
He went to Duke.
Interesting. He's injured this year.
Or like a Patty Mahomes. Like, Patty Mahomes is more NFL.
He is more... Well, but he also grew in the NFL a lot more. Like, he kind of got his body or, like, physicality in the NFL.
Because, like, think about it. Like, C.J. Stroud, like, college game... The NFL game is more suited for, like, a C.J. Stroud kind of quarterback.
Yeah. Well, just like one of those big, like...
Tall, can thread the needle.
Yeah. Like how Giannis is suited for the NBA because nobody's like him. Like,
yeah, true.
It's not even close. And with Patty Mahomes, he's like this big guy that can scramble and do a million other things, and you're like, oh gosh, he's like another Magic Johnson.
Although Lamar Jackson's a very good NFL quarterback, he's almost more like a college quarterback the way he plays.
True, but he's gotten better. Well, because
he's better than thrower though.
That's the thing, because people were just like, "Oh, we can just QB spy him, and he's not going anywhere." But yeah, he's actually become. He's not like a pocket passer, but he's just using
dual threat.
He's a dual threat, but like he's using more of his throw. He's really just using that throw on the run, like applying the throw.
Like outside the pocket throwing,
applying it more to his strengths.
And then another game, Michigan State plays Michigan this weekend, so.
Oh, that's gonna be a good game.
I'm not excited, but I am excited for the game. Like we mentioned earlier, like the Michigan sign scandal. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know if they're gonna get penalized or not, but it's at Spartan Stadium. It's a rivalry game, so Michigan State's obviously gonna play as hard as they can. Yeah. Like I said earlier, if Michigan State ends up winning, it'll be the upset of the year by far. I think Michigan's gonna win by easily 30 points, and I think that's me being optimistic. Like, like that's I don't know.
Well, I have two questions for you. Number one, do you think that Michigan State is the best opponent Michigan's played so far on paper?
On paper. That's a good question, actually. Let's see who they played. Well, actually, UNLV actually is 5-1, but they're not in the power competition.
Yeah, they have no competition. Yeah, I know Mizzou's former coach coaches UNLV.
So they played East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota. It's either them or Rutgers.
Yeah,
Rutgers ended up beating them.
Is Rutgers? Yeah, that's the thing. Was it
Rutgers
a
good
better game?
I think Rutgers is the best team they played on paper because Rutgers actually had a better record than Michigan State going into that game. I think, or it was the same record, but I think Rutgers is probably the best they played. And then they played Purdue. So
Purdue wasn't even close.
So like the toughest opponents they play are the last 3 games they play because they played Maryland, Ohio State, Penn State.
True, Maryland. Yeah. Well, how bad did they beat Maryland?
Who?
Michigan.
They haven't played Maryland yet. I'm saying like the last 3 games are their toughest opponents.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say Michigan, Maryland. That's probably gonna be their toughest opponent besides Penn State and like 2 other teams.
Penn State and Ohio State are the real games that matter.
100%.
The other 10 games are just kind of like mostly cakewalks.
It's easy. Yeah. Like it's too easy for that.
But if they end up beating both those teams, then we know they're legit though.
Yeah, even one of those teams, honestly,
they're both hard teams.
Especially because Ohio State's a big rivalry. And Penn State is the test.
They're both big tests.
Yeah.
But if they beat both of those teams, then you know they're like, okay, they could probably win a natty.
Exactly. Yeah. If they win both teams, if they beat both teams, they're a national championship contender.
For sure. Not even a question mark. Now it's
possibly I'd say they're on level Georgia if they beat both teams. Even better.
I think they might even be on Georgia's level now. But it's like they need the test though.
Exactly. Exactly. But even one of those teams, like they're both extremely hard teams. Like they're not good. They are certainly no cakewalks.
I think Florida State and Washington are dark horses.
They could be. Yeah. Well, Florida State needs a test though. Florida State needs a test.
Like I think Washington proved them that they're legit though.
Oh, Washington! I guess especially against Oregon
and Oklahoma too. They both proved they're legit. I think Washington's better than Oklahoma though. They're pretty close though. They're so close. The top 9 is so close.
Do they play this year?
Who?
Washington and Oklahoma.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I think they're at similar, like, playing level.
Hey, hopefully they can get in a bowl game or something.
Because, like, even though Oregon and Texas lost, like, they could still beat, like Texas can still beat Oklahoma and Oregon can still beat Washington. Like, they barely lost. Like, they're not bad.
Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, Texas barely losing kind of makes me think that both teams were almost at their peak when they were playing.
Yeah.
Like, that was just a really good game. I don't know. Maybe something.
If the Oregon kicker would have made that field goal, they would have gone to overtime, so who knows what would have happened there.
Overtime. Yeah. They'd be in double OT like Stanford and Colorado.
All right. Is there any other college games, or do you want to talk about NFL, or do you think you want to say? Because we've covered a lot so far.
Yeah, I mean, well, because I don't think there's any big NFL matchups. Do you know if there's any this weekend?
We can go over what happened this previous weekend. To kind of keep up to date, because the top teams lost. Niners and Eagles both lost their games, so I think that's pretty interesting.
I was going to say, any other, like, because those are the 2 big upsets, no question, but anything else that there's, like, is a little surprising? Like,
for NFL, I mean...
Didn't the Giants almost beat the Bills?
I don't know. From what I've heard in the NFL, I heard that those 2 teams lost, Eagles and Niners. The Bears lost to the who was it? Not Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah, it was the Vikings. Their backup quarterback came in because Fields might be out, right?
Right, he dislocated his right thumb or his right hand, something like that.
Okay,
so he's not playing against the Raiders this next weekend. That might be a good matchup.
The Texans won, right?
They beat the Saints, I think, by a little.
At the end of the day, like those are the only 3 things I know about the NFL, so I'm not going to speak on stuff I don't know.
Yeah,
but I know the top 2 teams lost, and I know that the Bears lost. That's pretty much what I know.
Everybody knew that the Bears lost. Well, because especially the two big teams, like those were like it was crazy. It's history, literally.
Yeah.
Like it never happens. Especially the Browns. Like when have they ever upset somebody? Last time I can't remember.
And then another thing is the Panthers are the only team with a 0 in their record, and they haven't won yet. It's poor Bryce Young, bro.
Who do you know who they're playing this week or this upcoming week?
Again, I don't know, but I know that they haven't won a game.
I could see like one or two teams they either have to get a big upset or they win against one or two really bad teams.
Because has Bryce Young been playing bad or is his offensive line bad? Because I don't know.
I think both.
I guess they coincide with each other.
They do. Yeah. I think they coincide.
Like Justin Fields, right? Like
he genuinely has nobody besides a washed up Adam Thielen.
Oh, this is another thing that we were talking about before we recorded is that because you know how in the class of 2018 you got Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields were the two greatest, and now Trevor Lawrence is in Jacksonville, which is a much better situation, and Justin Fields is in Chicago, unfortunately. And then 2020 class, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, and C.J. Stroud is in a much better situation than Bryce Young. I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is because I don't like the way that the two teams and the quarterbacks have been playing. Again, like I don't think that. Yeah, like you were saying, I don't think that reflects how they are, like how good they are, because
there's 10 other guys on the field with them.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think it does point to some interesting things. Like, is Bryce Young's height a factor? Is Justin Fields going to be able to lead a team with the proper offense?
Yeah.
So it's because Bryce Young just needs time, but Justin Fields, people are getting a little impatient.
Yeah, it's his third season.
It's his third season.
I think it's just he's on the Bears, bro. Like he's just not bad.
I don't want to say he needs to leave, but if they don't, especially this next season, if he stays with the Bears,
if Justin Fields, sorry to interrupt,
for a contract year or something, he's gonna make some decisions. That's all I was gonna say.
No, yeah, my bad. I was gonna say if Justin Fields is on the Jaguars, I think he'd be putting up crazy numbers.
He probably would, but then again, are the Jaguars? I mean, I think
does the system fit him though?
Is it the system or is it the player? Both obviously. Yeah. But which is more impactful? Is Trevor Lawrence making the system good, or is the system making Trevor Lawrence good?
I think they got Travis Etienne. They got a good defense. They got a lot of good young talent. It's kind of like the Lions a little bit, where the Lions have a really good young team.
Dude, the Lions are insane this year.
Yeah, the Lions.
I didn't think Jared Goff would be this good, though. To be fair, also
he was number 1 pick in the draft. So.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz was also number 1. I don't even know.
I thought Wentz might have gone
number 2, but I don't know where.
Yeah, but that's my coworker from my previous job made a good point where he was saying Jared Goff was number 1 pick. People forget that he's not a scrub. He was in the Super Bowl. He didn't win, but he was there.
Yeah, what was this the year that Matt Stafford led the Rams when he was playing?
No, this was the year that Brady beat the Rams in 2019.
Oh, wait.
It was a very boring Super Bowl, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, so the Rams went to the Super Bowl in 2019 and 2021, right?
2022, yeah.
Or 2022, yeah, 2022.
It depends how you measure it. If you measure it, because the Super Bowl is at the beginning of the year, but it's technically February of 2022 or February of 2019, but the season was the year before.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
But I like to say...
Anyway, you're saying 2018, 2019, that Super Bowl?
Yeah, the Patriots.
That was the last Super Bowl that Tom Brady played in for the Patriots.
Yes, his sixth Super Bowl ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh wait, this is the funny thing I thought about is the Ariana Grande song 7 Rings?
Yeah.
Bro, she predicted Tom Brady's 7th ring, bro. Because that song came out a year or two before he won his 7th ring, so maybe she knew, bro.
Did she have a line about Tom Brady in there?
No, but it's just I think it's kind of funny though, because Tom Brady won his 6th Super Bowl ring, and a little bit after that, the song came out, and then 2 years later, Tom Brady won his 7th ring, and there's highlight videos of Tom Brady just 7 rings. It's it goes hard. I mean, she might have predicted it, bro. You never know.
I actually haven't listened to 7 Rings in a while. I only listened to Thank You Next was on all the time.
That was 2019, 2018 was her prime.
Well, even before then though, because she had especially Break Free and
2014, yeah.
I'd say 2010 to from 2010 to 2020. That was that whole decade.
That was when she was popping.
She was popping all that.
Because from 2010 to 2013, 14, she was doing TV shows.
Exactly.
And then from 2014 to 2019, she was music.
Even she made different music too. Because back in the day, it was more poppy, glitzy and kind of glamoury pop. But then now she's making trap stuff. Ariana Grande doing trap, bro. I would have never. If you had told me that in 2014, 2013, I'd be you're lying.
She was dropping bars in 7 Rings. She had a rap part. She was rapping.
Dude, she's rapping. I think
she was pretty good actually.
Next. She's been spitting, bro. She's been.
She's a talented person. I mean, this is very off topic, but Tom Brady, Ariana Grande. Hey, I guess I'm.
Well, speaking of which, I'm going to see Hamilton in a couple weeks. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll probably hear some good verses going. It's King George III spitting.
Don't they have a rap song for that?
Some of it's rap, but then like King George has like a whole verse, and it's like it's just fire.
That's sick. That's sick. You're gonna be like, let him cook.
No, literally, like I'll just be like this and this. Oh man!
But anyway, did you want to talk about Tennessee, Alabama? Because I think we're pretty much through with football at this point, unless you want to keep talking about football. Because we also have baseball and basketball to talk about.
That could be the real match. Yeah, that should be like the last real thing, like football match we talk about. Yeah, like they. Well, again, without Hendon Hooker, like they have no offense.
Yeah, they got Joe Milton at quarterback, and they're not like a terrible team. I want him to play Nico. You know the freshman sensation, Nico.
Where's
Maleva? He was like the number one recruit in the country. He's a backup. But he was a number one quarterback in the class, and he's a freshman backup for Joe Milton. Mm-hmm. But I want him to play because I feel like he could light it up.
That's the thing.
He's a freshman though, so they don't want to play him.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. There are a lot of other teams that have freshman quarterbacks that came.
Arch Manning's 5-star.
Yeah, literally like five-star recruits, and you're not even starting your. I mean, you gotta let them. You gotta let them watch a little bit. You gotta let them observe. But
even like Trevor Lawrence, like
if it's so much better though, you gotta start. In my opinion,
I think Jake Fromm was an anomaly because Jake Fromm started as a freshman right away. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lawrence, it took him like 5 or 6 games, and then they started him because the guy starting ahead of him was just not good.
Yeah,
I think his name was like Kelly Bryant or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Might have heard of that guy.
It was like in between, like it was like Deshaun Watson left, and they had like some random guy, and they were still Clemson, so they're good. But then Trevor Lawrence came in, and they started cooking.
Yeah, I forgot Deshaun Watson. Where did he go? He went to Oklahoma after that.
Well, he just like went to the NFL.
I thought it. Well, no, because he. Or am I thinking of Jalen Hurts?
We're talking about when Trevor Lawrence came in. Trevor Lawrence came in like 2018, and Deshaun Watson left, I think, in 2017.
Oh, so they were literally at back-to-back great QBs. Well, also, the Browns and the Jaguars have got to play. Hopefully they do at some point this year. That would be really cool, the Clemson matchup.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. Trevor Lawrence broke Deshaun Watson's high school passing yards in Georgia for high school football.
Wait, they both went to this, like, they were in the same state?
Same state, yeah. So, like, Deshaun Watson, like, he had the all-time, like, leading record in passing yards for this high school in Georgia, and then Trevor Lawrence broke it.
Wait, they go to the same high school?
No.
Or just high
school?
Same state. State high school record, got it.
Yeah, it's like for the whole state. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I think I'm thinking of Jalen Hurts, who went to Clemson, and then he transferred to Oklahoma.
He went to Bama.
Bama and Oklahoma.
Bama and then Oklahoma,
yeah. Well, one of the, I don't know.
The best, so that's probably why he's so good in the league, because like two best quarterback schools, I mean.
Yeah.
For the last 5 years.
True, yeah. Well, apparently, especially even in the NFL, a lot of people would love to get Jalen Hurts, so. I mean, the Eagles are, I'm surprised the Eagles haven't franchise tagged him yet. I know they probably will in the future, though.
That's true, yeah. He's 25, he's pretty young.
Yeah, also, last Super Bowl, he was doing good at the beginning, but then he let the Chiefs back in the game, I'm sorry.
There were some weird calls, too, though. But yeah,
but that's the Chiefs, though. They're always going to get favored calls.
So stupid.
I'm looking at you, Chiefs fans. You guys always get the BS calls. I'm sorry.
So dumb, yeah. But yeah, Alabama, Tennessee. Who do you think is it at? I don't know what stadium it's at.
Wait,
I can honestly see Tennessee winning though. I wouldn't be surprised.
Where is it? Who has home field advantage?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, again, I just think whoever has home field advantage is going to win. That's probably mine. Because especially both colleges have roaring fan base. Like, if, for example, Tennessee went to Alabama, like, Alabama fans would just hate
them. They have huge stadiums, yeah.
Yeah, well, like, also, huge stadiums and so many students. Like, Alabama's a huge school. It's the party school.
Yeah, Ohio State is a huge school, too. And also, like, Penn State, A&M, like, those are big schools.
All the major college teams, they've got big schools. Even well,
Duke and Notre Dame are kind of small though.
Yeah,
because they're more like elite though.
They're more like because they're more religious. Also,
they're also more like selective because it's hard to get in.
Well, that's what I say. Religious academic institute, like top tier religious academic institutions.
Yeah, I think it's like Vanderbilt, like 10,000 kids. I think
Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Northwestern's pretty small too.
Northwestern as well, yeah. Northwestern's a big school. It just doesn't have a lot of students.
Like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the student count is not as big.
Yeah. Again, like, it's so hard to get in.
But... Yeah, that's why it's hard to get in. Like, Michigan State is like Michigan State and, like, Ohio State, they got, like, 50,000 kids. I think
you can lie anybody in Michigan State, no.
University of Michigan is kind of interesting because, like, they're really hard to get into, but it's, like, a big school.
Is it actually? Well, I mean, like, because...
University of Michigan, yeah, there's, like, 50,000 kids that go there.
I think I'm just thinking about, like...
Their stadium is big.
What's the acceptance rate at Michigan?
Like 20%.
20%?
Pretty hard to get into.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming because they'll make a big exception for athletes, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like in general, if you're not an athlete, it's still hard. It's like 20%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Duke like made exceptions for like Zion? They had to have.
I don't know
what his grades were like, but like I don't think he was a dumb guy or anything. But it's like Duke's hard to get into.
No idea. I never thought about that. I had no idea. I mean, like
Derrick Henry. Alabama.
I think Zion was just too good not to let him in either way.
It's like it's Zion, bro. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Or like Clemson. Actually, Clemson. I think Clemson's kind of hard to get into.
Yeah, but I just know like a lot of the major institutions would rather get the name out there and spend the money than like care about somebody.
Like the football players at Michigan, I'm sure there's like some smart guys on the team, but there's also probably guys on the team that can't go to Michigan because like it's hard.
Well, yeah, the guys that aren't like because guys like JJ McCarthy, guys like Blake, I forgot.
Blake Corum,
like they're
Wilson.
Those guys stand out more than a lot of other people.
It's like 5-star receiver or 5-star recruit. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. Like if they're gonna recruit somebody, it's got to be the best of the best at the sport. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, in that case, if your grades aren't as good, then maybe you can slip by a little bit.
They got a lot of tutors and stuff, and
they probably do.
Yeah, I mean that's the same at every school. Like if you're an athlete, like it's hard because you got homework, you got to go to practice. It's like there's a lot of.
Being a student athlete, they always say, is just, it's hard.
I was a student athlete for 1 year. I was good at being an athlete, but not so good at being a student. But anyway, like...
I was a student. I wasn't good at being a student.
Bro, one of the guys on my team, so like we had practice, right? Like cross-country track. Mm-hmm. So we were student athletes, so we had practice, we had school classes. He had a job, too. It's like, why are you adding a job to this?
Like, would he go to school in the morning, practice in the afternoon, work at night?
Yeah, it's like, bro, he like worked at Walmart. It was like, I respect the hustle, but it's like, that just sounds like too much. Like, why are you adding a job on top of being a student athlete?
Maybe you have to pay for like your bills, possibly. Well,
I mean, if your family needs to pay for it, then that makes sense.
That's the only reason I could see him working at Walmart for that reason, like for his schedule, obviously.
But if you're doing it for like the grind set, I don't understand that because it's like, bro, you gotta make sure you like.
He's like building mental toughness. Well, what did Ron Artest? I think he literally like I think it was an off season. He just worked at like a circuit center or something.
Well, the off season, yeah, because he just had classes, right?
Yeah. Well, or no, like this is while he was a player. He was just like, I just want to be humbled, so I'm just gonna go work at an electric company.
Ron Artest, he was a very interesting guy.
Or it was like a circuit store, like they'd sell like circuits and stuff.
He was a rapper. He tried to be a rapper.
He was a good rap. Well, listen to Champions. That's a great fucking song. It was in the 2K11 soundtrack.
Wasn't he like doing a rap album like right before Malice in the Palace or something?
Was he? Did he scrapped it because of Malice? That would be a really good album name. Malice at the Palace. That'd be a really good
cover. Is just like people in the stands throwing hands, bro.
It's like this bit of the Detroit Stadium. Ron Artest guy.
That's hilarious.
And you have like the wrong fan just being like, you don't forget he punched the wrong guy.
Bro, that's the thing. And speaking of which, like, I've gotten more into, like, baseball. I remember last episode I was saying I'm not really into baseball. The pitch clock does make a huge difference. I've been loving the games. Sometimes in baseball, they be throwing hands.
Oh, they do sometimes, yeah. Well, that's why I got back into it. Or not the throwing hand. That's why I get into hockey. But
hockey, yeah, you gotta learn how to fight playing hockey, bro.
Oh, it's inevitable. Yeah. Like there's, I don't even know, like at least like 4 or 5 times somebody's gonna get in a fight match or whatever. But for baseball, like you're saying the pitch clock, that's also why I got back into it. It's super, like pitchers just can't sit there for 2 minutes planning out a pitch. Like,
the
makes the game so much more.
The Phillies have been unbelievable. I think they've had like 10 runs in the last 2 games, or
they've been cooking.
Probably more than that. But like, yeah, Bryce Young has been really good. Did you see the celebration he did where it was his 31st birthday? He had 4 home runs. So he did like a 3 and then a 1 on it.
Or Harper?
Yeah. Did I say Bryce Harper? Or what did I say?
You say Young. Yeah, I also get confused.
I meant to say Bryce Harper. I'm more accustomed to talking about Bryce Young. But
I also made the mistake. I was like, "Do you see Bryce Young play today?" He's like, "What? No, for baseball."
It's like when you're talking about Michigan State and Michigan. And I remember one of the last episodes I was like, "Yeah, Michigan's program is going downhill," and I meant to say Michigan State. Like Michigan's number 2 in the country. They're not going downhill.
Michigan's so bad right now.
They're beating teams by 30 points a game. They're going downhill.
Well, maybe they might be going downhill at this.
Well, sign stealing, they might have done much up, bro. That's the thing, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why. I could see the NCAA just finding them, taking the money, and then just saying,
I'm just wondering if like would they punish Jim Harbaugh and not the players? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, I know they typically punish the team, like they'll like erase your record or something. Like Mizzou had like recruit. We did that like 10 years ago, I think, or something. Yeah. They suspended both of our seasons, like 2 of our seasons that year, and we had really good seasons too. Like this is like I don't think it was Chase Daniel area, but we had really good. Like we had a really
from Mizzou.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When was this? How long ago? Early 2010s?
This is, like early 2010s. Like, we got...
Oh, they had that one guy. I forgot his name. He was like Johnny Manziel, though.
Which guy? Oh, Drew Lock?
No, it was like a crazy... Like, he was almost like a Blue Mountain State quarterback. He was like Johnny Football.
What was his name? Are you talking about Matty Mock? Yes, I remember. He used... I think he got in trouble for, like, coke or something like that.
Yeah, he was like a party animal. He was like, bro, Johnny Manziel was like if Blue Mountain State was a person. Like, that's not what I see.
Dude, 100% money, man.
Yeah, the BMS.
Yeah, well, Liddy, doesn't he do... Is he a golfer now? He's a professional or semi-pro golfer?
He was a good athlete. Like, he had baseball, basketball, golf. He played...
Dude, I'm going to see Money Manziel in the MLB, bro. He's going to go nuts.
I don't know. He didn't seem like a bad guy. He just didn't have a love for football.
Yeah.
He was just good at it. I think. He was just like so good at it, but he didn't really care.
Well, speaking of one of those guys that were like, I mean, besides Jacoby Russell, another guy who just didn't care, but like...
Oh, Jamarcus Russell. That's
Jamarcus Russell.
He would just eat junk food, bro.
Well, he was the Baconator guy. He just ate like... He'd eat like 3 or 4 Baconators before a game or something.
Well, he was the number 1 pick, and he didn't even wear a training cap. He would just eat McDonald's every day.
McDonald's, Wendy's, all the crap food.
Which, I mean, I guess maybe he never had a love for it. He was just so good at it, which is crazy.
I heard he had like...
Or maybe he just had like some depression. I don't know.
It was a depression or eating disorder. It was something. Like, there was like something there, but like there was everybody just memes him for being...
Because there's always a reason why. Like, you gotta be empathetic. Because like, you know how people in society tend to be judging, like, oh, what's this guy's problem? Like, you're not in this guy's head. You don't know what the heck's going on in this guy's life. Like Ryan Leaf, for example. Ryan Leaf had like some... I think he was addicted to painkillers. I could be misspeaking though. But you know Ryan Leaf, right? Him and Peyton Manning.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you're talking, like, you're talking about Ryan Leaf, like, you know it's Ryan Leaf, right? That was addicted to painkillers.
I don't want to say like 100%, but I think I've heard something like that. Like he had like a problem with like painkillers, or he had like some sort of problem like with drugs when he was playing. Yeah. It's like there's a lot of reasons, like, and there's like a lot of people, or there's not a lot of people. There's some guys that don't have a love for their sport. But they're so good at it, they're like, okay, I might as well make this. I'm going to make millions of dollars. Like, you know Sugar Ray Robinson, right?
Yeah.
There's a clip of him saying, like, yeah, I don't like boxing. It's very barbaric. But he was, like, so good at it, so he's like, I might as well play it and do it.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it's like sad and motivational at the same time.
Well, I mean, there have been, I know for a fact, like, you know Lupe Fiasco, the rapper?
Yeah.
He hated rap. At the beginning,
he
was like misogynistic and like all this stuff, and yeah.
I didn't hear about that. He's so good too. His rap's not really that. He has a different style though. His rap's more kind of like free flowing, just like vibing.
Dude, listen to Drill Music. I think you're gonna love that. Drill Music and Zion. It's a really like...
It's an album?
It's an album. It's his most recent album. It's a really good look into like how rap culture is like affecting the youth these days, and like how it's just...
It's bad. Like if you look at
cities.
Mikey Williams.
Well, I was gonna say,
that's the thing, yeah.
Well, yeah, because you were talking about, like, I was gonna say, like, me and Luke were talking about off the podcast. We were like, these, like, just to be a famous person in social media these days, like, you don't even know, like, I wouldn't even know how it would be like these days because it's just a lot of pressure. And it's very hard.
I don't envy famous people. Like the money, like ideally you'd want to do something you love, have a lot of money, and just like live a private life. Those are the people that like have it made.
Facts.
The people are like that are I think are the most blessed. Where like they're doing what they love to do. They're making a lot of money. They're in good health. They got a good family, and then they're not famous. Like they can go out in public and enjoy the life.
Facts.
Those are the people that I think probably live the best lives, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, even I wonder about like all those. Like those wholesome guys, like those guys who like literally their brand is being wholesome and they have like a loyal fan base.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like with our podcast, like we're obviously we're having fun with it, but we eventually want to get bigger and bigger. I don't want us to get like too big to where we're like. I mean, it'd be nice, but if we're like the Nelk Boys level, that's gonna be like we're like. It's gonna be like
crazy.
I'd rather just have like a niche fan base.
Yeah. Well, then we get to
Yeah, that's true.
Would you?
It'd be nice though, but like the privacy would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, but they've done with everybody. Like they've interviewed everybody. Like they had 2 episodes with Donald Trump.
I can't believe how many connections. It almost blows my mind. It's like how do they have all these connections? I understand they're popular, but it almost seems like every day they got a new celebrity. It's like how they
get the most famous celebrities who would be like these guys would never like talk to a bunch of like guys like the Nelk Boys. Like there's no way.
It almost makes you think that they have like some handlers that like set it up and everything.
Oh, that's the thing. Like they definitely have like real like managers that like they know how to communicate what the Nelk Boys want.
Well, I think they have connections to. They do have connections to Dana White.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, true.
That helps them.
That's from maybe like one guy that like had connections with 1 million people because they even did or possibly another guy like they did they had a on 420 they had a Snoop Dogg episode.
They've had Candace Owens. They've had her on.
That's
like
not
a conservative podcast person.
I'm thinking of Sha'Carri Richardson, the one who smoked weed.
They had her on?
No, I was wrong.
That's a very different kind of person. They're both black women, but they're very different black women.
I was like, I just confused black women confused.
Yeah, they're very different. They're both black, but they're very different people.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've already seen Candace, or she's not. No, wait.
She's pretty well known.
Wait, she's the Republican, right?
She's like a Republican. Pretty famous, like a conservative on the internet. Yeah.
I'm thinking of 1 million different black women right now.
You're thinking of like all the ratchet ones, all the class. She's not a ratchet black woman. She's like a family woman.
Either the athletes, the politicians, all the other.
There's a lot of famous black women.
I wonder, but she's gonna be different than Candace Owens is gonna be a lot different than who's that? Do you know the first black?
She was going after Cardi B. She was calling out Cardi B.
Of course she was.
Which I don't blame her for.
I know Cardi B. A lot of people would go at her for her provocative. Like she's like Nicki Minaj.
Like for what she provocative
nature, reputation, all that. But yeah, like the way I wonder because I forgot the first black congresswoman. Do you know who I'm talking about? Like from way back in the day. Her photos everywhere.
It was really long ago?
Like somewhat long ago. Like it was like 56
Yeah, I don't think I would know. The first I know Condoleezza Rice was a black woman politician.
But was she a congresswoman?
I don't know, but she worked within the George Bush administration, so it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking. She's also another very high prominent politician.
Or like Omarosa Manigault Newman. Have you heard of her?
Actually,
she was in the Trump administration. She got fired by Trump, though.
Dude, Trump, everybody resigned. Everybody resigned.
Well, Trump actually, he picked some interesting people, because he picked kind of people, he's pretty objective. Like, he was, picking the people he thought was the best for the role.
True, yeah. But it's interesting, because then, he was picking, a lot of different people, but then,
Ben Carson.
They had really good relationships at the beginning, though.
Mike Pompeo for Secretary of State, who I think
Who was the Supreme Court guy he threw in?
Oh, there was, Neil Gorsuch and, what was the other guy? Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, I think he did.
Some woman. There was the last person he picked was a woman. Forgot her name, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those two guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, basically, like you were saying, people that he thought... Because they had a good relationship at the beginning.
Who did?
Trump and a lot of the people he...
His cabinet? Yeah, they did.
His cabinet, the branches of the government, even probably a lot of Republican supporters that were supporting him and stuff like that. I know people like Carrie Lake still really admire him and a lot of other high prominent Republican.
It's pretty much the establishment Republicans that don't like him, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because the establishment Republicans and the establishment Democrats, they kind of work together.
I mean, they're the ones who kicked Kevin McCarthy out of
I don't know anything about Kevin McCarthy. I know he's the Speaker of the House. I don't know if he's good or not. He's definitely better than Mitch McConnell.
I think he was just he was independent, so he was more of a bipartisan guy, and people didn't like that. Which
is good, but it's not good for them.
Well, but he wasn't a strong bipartisan guy. He was a quiet bipartisan guy.
What about Jim Jordan? I've heard about Jim Jordan. Seems all right.
Who's Jim Jordan?
He was I think running for Speaker of the House. He's the one who grills big tech. I don't know much about him, but the fact that he's grilling big tech is somewhat good, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, is he one of those business guys though?
I don't know. He's a Southern Republican. I don't know anything about him though.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I just know that he grills big tech. That's all I know.
Oh, sure. Yeah, maybe because if he was one of those guys that came out the mud, that.
I don't know anything about what is Kevin McCarthy like. What is his beliefs? I don't know anything about him.
I don't know a lot about him, but I just know he was very because again he was very independent. He was more independent, but he wasn't very vocal about the things he really kind of. He kind of
more
just
neutral.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a Speaker of the House, you gotta let everybody else talk. But he really just.
He was almost too neutral.
Well, in the sense, he didn't think for himself. He kind of just let everybody talk. He kind of just, I think in this day and age, to bring everybody together, you need a strong voice that brings.
And you can't be too one-sided, I guess. It's hard. It's hard to do nowadays. People are so stubborn now.
Yeah. Well, it's hearing somebody out, but also knowing what you just need to do is we all have the common goal to make the country better. It's just how are we all going to come together and reach a compromise, a good solution? Yeah. And you need a strong person to say let's just get together and work this out. And then
that's the thing.
Kevin McCarthy just wasn't that guy.
If Trump didn't have like the crazy like non-affiliated, think about it, if Trump spoke like Obama, I think he'd be one of the most popular presidents of all time.
True.
Because his policies, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, were very good, but his like demeanor, people didn't like, and people like to vote with their emotions.
Like you're saying, if he had the demeanor like Obama.
Yeah, because Obama, like, this is how I see it. Like in my opinion, Obama. Terrible policies. Like he bombed the heck of the Middle East. Very well spoken guy, very charismatic, likable guy. So like a lot of people, as me personally, I vote based off of like logic and what the policies are, but not everyone does that. Sometimes people vote by how likable the candidate is.
Yeah.
Trump had a lot of good policies in my opinion, economic policies, foreign policy, but he doesn't care what he said, and sometimes people get offended by that. So think about it. If Trump had the demeanor of a Barack Obama, I think that most of the country could get behind that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, true. But then but because he's so outspoken the way he is,
it helps his fan base.
That's what I was gonna say. He created like a whole new like people. Like before, when he was starting to get back into politics, like he created this whole new.
He had to do that though. Yeah.
True.
It could have been like a balance though. Actually, he seems a little more. He actually seems a little more laid back now than what he used to be.
Because he's more. Well, it's interesting because now he went from like. Just being the guy who was like talking about like the institution, like always say
the establishment,
the establishment. He was kind of like he really didn't have anybody like opposition when he was in office, like because he could speak his mind, like he was a big part of the country. And then when the new administration comes in, like they want to like ostracize him, and then like they want to because he's so outspoken the way in the things he believes in, like they're like. They have this whole new administration, like
trying to. You're talking about Biden's administration, or which one?
Yeah, like trying to crack down on Trump, and now it's like it kind of went from this narrative where he was just speaking his mind about like things that needed to happen in the country, and like other people like nobody like opposed him, to now like he's like fighting against the institution, like because they're trying to put him down, they're trying to put him in jail, like all this stuff.
Oh, like all the indictments.
He just keeps coming back.
Bro, the indictments are making him more popular. That's the thing.
He keeps coming, like you were saying. He comes back stronger than ever. Like they try to bring him down. He just keeps going up.
Bro, like that's the thing. Is like they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's almost kind of like. Well, Andrew Tate actually kind of fell off, but like when Andrew Tate got banned, he got more popular.
I mean, like he's kind of put himself out of the limelight because he's more like obviously the Romanian government's after him, but like
he had his year of glory. Like he's not as popping as like 2022, but like he's still popular. Yeah.
True, yeah.
2022, the Andrew Tate thing was crazy though.
Yeah, I think this was a downtime, but I believe Andrew Tate's something's gonna happen.
He's gonna be around.
He's gonna be in the news again somehow.
Like, I like Andrew Tate, but I got tired of hearing him all the time. Like nothing against him, it's just like it was so much.
Yeah. What was it like? Just like all over the world and stuff. Yeah, because everybody was talking about him for like there was like a brief like 4 months where Andrew Tate was just the face of the world.
Yeah, and I agreed with a lot of the stuff he was saying, but it's like after a certain amount of time, it's like I want to look into other things. I don't want to just hear you all the time. It's kind of
because that's what everybody was watching. Like that's what everybody was posting. And
he hijacked everybody's For You page. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, anything else you want to bring up? Because I know we did get a little bit into baseball. We did get a little.
Yeah. Like, did you want to talk any more about baseball? We also talk about the NBA's coming up as well. But before we do that, I just want to quickly talk about Trump for a little bit longer, not too much longer, but because like you said earlier, like he's getting more popular through the indictments. And another thing is like even people who didn't like Trump or like were pretty neutral, they're seeing like how messed up everything is now with like Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, like all the crazy inflation. People are like, okay, we need like someone like Trump back because like what's happening now is worse than when Trump was the president.
Literally, like the whole. To be fair, the war wasn't Biden's administration's fault, but like
it wasn't. But like it could have been stopped a little bit, or like at least prevented to. Something could have been done prior, I feel like.
Well, but like it's kind of, and it brings it back to, this is where it always reminds me of, like when the French, basically, we would not be a country if it wasn't for France. I'm going to put it out there, guys. They helped us. They saved us back in 1778. But but the people in France were like, why are we giving this cause over here? Which, great for America, they're getting independence, awesome, but why are we helping this conflict?
It's like, why are we not putting France first?
Like, when we have our own problem, especially the monarchy was like, it was the 1%ers versus the 98% peasants that were breaking their backs in the fields and all that stuff. And to nowadays, where it's like, the Ukraine war is going on, and we're glad, and even Israel, it's good that we're giving all this stuff to these countries to help out, to stop tyranny, but we have our own problems.
I think There was a good survey I saw on YouTube. It was like, do you support sending like the troops to Israel? And the best answer I think is like we should send them aid, but not troops. Like send them aid, but don't send our own soldiers there. I think that's the best policy because at least we're helping to a degree instead of just not doing anything.
Well, I just look at it as like, why, in a sense, like, I mean, it's all territory, I think, in my opinion, but like, it's kind of
random.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, I think this is just their thing. Like, in a sense,
U.S. and Israel have a deep bond, though. That's
the thing. We have such a deep bond, but I just know that, like, what the Europeans did, like, to even, I'm not putting, like, because it was, Palestine started this war.
Hamas initially started it, yeah. You could argue Iran. Did you hear about, like, the U.S., like, giving $6 billion to Iran and then Iran funding Hamas? That's, like, a theory, or, like, I think that's what people are saying.
Interesting, yeah. Well, why would we give money to the Hamas?
I mean, I think Biden, because I don't know, people are probably telling Biden to do something. He's like, all right. I don't know.
I will say, I just don't know how...
He's definitely a puppet. We can admit that.
I have no idea. I mean, again, like, if you're going to be the president of the United States...
Like, he doesn't know what's happening.
Well, that's the thing. People are... I mean, I just think, like, when people say, like, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on at all, like, I'm like, if you're the president of the United States, you gotta have an idea of what's going on. But
he's not all the way there, though.
Yeah, no, but
like I've seen his interview. It was hard for him to articulate and talk.
To go into because he's 80, like he's
So
like,
he might have a rough idea, but it's not like he has a strong. Like he could be taken advantage of. Like he could be like someone could tell him. Like he could have his own. Like pretty much like the donors, the lobbyists, like they could be influencing what he does.
There's so many people working for the government. It's insane. Yeah. Well, but even I know what's his name, Vivek.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yes, he was talking. He was actually on the Nelk Boys podcast, and he was talking about like the super. You know what the super PACs are? Like guys like DeSantis, like Trump's not. He's his own guy, but like
him and Trump are independent more.
A lot of these guys, like he says, really only him and Trump are.
They got their most
controlled by super.
They can't be bought out. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, like he said Ron DeSantis, like the super PAC, like these companies like gave him like 10 pages on shit talking Vivek or something, like just 10 pages of just
his popularity actually went down in polls.
Yeah. Santos or Vic? Vivek, yeah. Well, because he said he talked about like something about fossil fuels and he lost like 10 sponsors or something like that.
I think that maybe that, but also like he got bitched around at one of the rallies, and also like people were calling him out for having business deals with China, and it was just like everybody was ganging up on Vivek, and it was just like not a good look.
Oh, it happens, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it's like because I feel like going up to Washington in a sense is like who's gonna look the best,
he's the outsider, so they're gonna attack him. That's part of it too.
Well, it's like who's gonna be like, for example, in your high school, like who's gonna be the most respected person, like who that everybody talks about in the set, like the yearbook guy, like the guy that's on the yearbooks and stuff, like, and it's all like this contest of like who's gonna look the best, in certain situations, who's gonna do the best.
It's like an image thing, right?
It's an image thing. I mean, even nowadays, it's very image focused.
If you think about like growing up in school, like when it came to like the kids who were like stereotypically popular, it goes back to biology in a way, because like the popular girls are like the attractive ones, and like for mating purposes, and the attractive guys are like the athletic ones.
Fact.
And that goes back to like biology too.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
True. Yeah. Well, especially I didn't even think about it. Yeah, like you're trying to build like the best specimen possible.
Athletic guy, attractive girl, like that's like how you get the good genetics going.
That's what LeVar Ball said. I made 3 beautiful kids. Like all me.
That's hilarious. But anyways, did you want to keep talking about baseball, and we could also talk about NBA coming up?
Yeah, I will say I just checked. We've already been like on for an hour, but we haven't even touched the NBA though. To be fair,
no, that's true. Yeah, we could talk about it a little bit because we kind of got off topic, but it was a good conversation though.
Great conversation.
Not mad about it. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If I lost track of time, it was a great conversation.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was too choppy. Like we still had a flowing conversation. So at the end of the day, like this is about sports, but we actually want to include other stuff like politics and like what's going on in the world, because sports are great, but the world is not just sports. Like you don't want to be caught too much in the sports matrix.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, like, because, I mean, because you guys know, we started for the first 30 minutes talking about sports, and then we had this whole political conversation and stuff, which, again, great, so.
You gotta be multifaceted. You don't want to just be able to talk about one thing.
As long as it's like natural, I'm like
as long as there's no like stopgaps.
Exactly. Well, like I don't want to bring up a certain sports topic or a certain political topic for no reason. It's got to like tie in, you know.
And we have to like have somewhat knowledge about it. Like if we're talking about like
facts,
like if it's about like Vietnamese politics, I don't know what the heck's going on.
I don't even know.
I don't know what's going on in like the Armenian election. Like I don't know anything about it.
I heard one of the Armenian like presidents like stood up to Putin. I forgot what he.
Oh, like Armenia and Azerbaijan. There's rumors they could go to war, bro.
Bro, I swear if they do.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if
Taiwan too.
Oh, the U.S. is not going to let that happen. Taiwan they need the U.S.
Isn't China's economy in dire situation right now?
It's not looking great.
Like isn't there youth unemployment like really high? That's what I heard.
Possibly that I don't know, but
so like the war could bring them some money. That's like another thing.
Yeah, but it's this concept of like you can't win a war without the people. Very few people in history have won a war without public support. So you need the people to be behind you for something.
That's true.
And I mean, to be fair, like it's kind of different because I feel like Mao was really good at doing that, and Xi Jinping's not very good at doing that.
I think the difference is the internet. People are less programmable than they were back then.
True, but like if you're really like, for example, a guy like Trump, like he doesn't need social. I mean, he's on Twitter, but he doesn't need social media to have his fan base. Like people just like the news. For people that are very good communicators, the news just spreads.
That's true.
With or without social media.
Yeah, Trump is just like he's what middle class America wanted to hear because they were getting neglected for decades. So he was kind of like a breath of fresh air for a lot of Americans, a lot of like middle class white Americans, and that's the thing. Like most of America, I mean, it's changing. Like demographics are changing, but a lot of America is just like middle America white, and like people were focusing on the East and West Coast, liberal East and West Coast. But it's like, okay, there's a whole mainland America in between, bro. Mm-hmm. You can't just neglect those industries and those people just because they're white guys.
Facts. Yeah. Well, are you talking about specifically just like the middle of America or like?
Pretty much like the non-coastal America, like the Midwest, the South, like that. You know, like the blue-collar middle America, you know, the real hardy Americans.
We need a Midwest president. He's always, or he or she will always be hardworking.
I mean, the Midwest and the South, I mean, and in my opinion, they're kind of like that's pretty much like the blue-collar, all-American kind of farmland kind of America, you know? Well, they call it flyover country.
Well, do you know California, like, they literally are telling their students not to sing the Pledge of Allegiance.
I call them California. Yeah, because they're communists, bro. Like California. I mean,
California.
I misspoke, but the California's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah. Well, in the U.S., in the Midwest, we're very hardworking people. That I like our reputation.
Yeah, the Midwest is like gritty, hardworking. And Chicago is like the biggest city, so it's like the most liberal part of the Midwest. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, exactly. Or it reminds me of Ronnie Chang.
I heard of him. I think
he made a whole. You should watch this bit. He makes a whole bit on why we need an Asian president because they're not going to care about either.
What do you think would a Hispanic care either? That might be good.
Some of the Hispanics are kind of more intermingled with the black guys. Although
that's true. Sometimes the Hispanic people are.
Sometimes they leave though.
Sometimes the Hispanic people are like intermingled with the Southern whites. Like they come over the border and they just become whites. And then like the black guys are still the black guys.
Well, literally, yeah. Because most of them are like from like if you're not from like Mexico or like one of those like Central America places, you're white. Like you're pretty much white.
Because like the people who come from Mexico to like and they integrate to like the South, Texas or like Alabama or whatever, they kind of have like somewhat similar values. So they kind of integrate. Where it's like the South, they have the black and like the black people have the history of like slavery, so it's a little awkward.
Yeah.
Well, like when a Mexican guy comes in and like they kind of like they're big family values, so like Latin American family values, and that's a big part of like the Southern values. So they can kind of just be all right, we'll cop on with the white people. We don't want to be like discriminated against right now.
Yeah, but white guys being mad at us as well.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah.
But we can do predictions for NBA because to keep it like shorter.
Yeah. Because
MVP, Rookie of the Year, best record, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, you're talking about each award.
I think that'd be a good idea.
I love it. I love the idea. So MVP, I'll let you start first.
This one's hard. I personally don't think it's gonna be Giannis just because Damian Lillard's going to the team.
Not Joel Embiid either.
No, I think Luka and Jokic could be up there.
Jokic might want it really bad this year.
Yeah. I want Luka. Bro, Luka hasn't won his MVP yet. I feel like his time's due.
Maybe Luka's next year. Well, also because he needs he needs more help.
I'm trying to think of a guy.
The Mavs have no defense, by the way.
I'm trying to think of a guy that can like break through to be the MVP.
There's so many good players these days.
People say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His team's probably not gonna be that good though.
I would have said Ja, but
no. Anthony Edwards, I think, is going to be very good in the future.
The T-Wolves just need to get better, and he will.
Yeah, who's another player like good record? I mean, Jason Tatum. I don't see. I don't see Jason Tatum being MVP though.
Because the Celtics are just they've been disappointing for the last some years. Maybe Booker.
No, I don't see Booker.
If KD puts up too many numbers, then no.
Maybe I feel like Luka or Jokic. I think those are my two guys.
The two
Eastern Europeans.
Slovenia and Serbia.
I don't want you guys to call me racist, but those are the two best. Who's another? I'm trying to think of another.
Well, you wouldn't be racist, right?
What?
You wouldn't be racist, right? This is your own kind.
Oh, I know. But did you see the thing with Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick though?
What happened?
Where Kendrick Perkins was saying that it's he pretty much was saying that Jokic was winning back-to-back MVPs because he was white. And it's like, bro, look at all the MVPs. They're like 90% black. It's because Jokic was the best player in the league in that time.
I think the white narrative helps. That's all I was saying.
I mean, it helps, but he was still like actually the best player though.
Yeah, well,
like Larry Bird was the best player back then.
It's not. I think that it wasn't as clear cut, so it's kind of hard. Like it just reminds me of
because Embiid was there too. Yeah.
But I think Jokic should have won last year because Embiid.
That'd have been 3 in a row for him.
Exactly. Yeah, true. But like Embiid.
Voter fatigue. It was voter fatigue, I think.
Voter fatigue, but also like, oh my gosh, Embiid is like one of the worst MVPs because he does so great in the regular season, the playoffs you just get shit on. Like how does your MVP in Game 7 against the Celtics not touch the ball in the entire fourth quarter? It makes no sense.
Him and Harden are just not a good duo for the playoffs. They're regular season players.
Yeah, but like 2 big shots at the like they were winning, but
they're like
Doc Rivers is probably why.
I guess for MVP, I mean I think fuck it, I'm gonna say Luka.
I'll say Jokic just to make a difference. Whoever gets
it's between those two guys because I can't think of another player. Like
I think Jokic is gonna be hungry for it. He's gonna want another.
I would say Giannis if like Lillard didn't go there.
Facts. Yeah.
Lillard's gonna take away from his production. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Rookie of the Year, it's got to be Wembanyama. Or Holmgren. Chet Holmgren's actually a rookie.
Chet Holmgren's really good. I mean, I could just say Scoot Henderson, but I don't feel like he's doing very good.
No.
Brandon Miller could have a chance. Maybe if he does good this year. Who's another strong rookie that like
the Thompson brothers are another one?
I'm interested to see how both of them
Grady Dick.
Can you imagine he wins Rookie of the Year? I swear. He's just going to become Toronto's new fucking all-star.
Is there a player I'm forgetting about, though, for the MVP race?
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
I don't think there is.
I feel like there's... For both Rookie of the Year and MVP, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but...
I think I'm forgetting something, not for Rookie of the Year, but for MVP, I might be forgetting someone.
Yeah. I feel like there's one other rookie I'm forgetting about that was like 6th or 7th.
Grady Dick is another one. But I don't see him winning.
Yeah. Or like pick 6th or 7th.
And then what team do you think will have the best record? The Bucks are one of the teams. Bucks.
Suns would be up there.
Do you think Warriors will be up there still?
Nah, they kind of fell off a little bit. Maybe Lakers if they're healthy. They'll be like a top 3 seed. The West is just super.
Oh, Nuggets! I forgot about the Nuggets. Nuggets are really.
Nuggets are. Oh yeah, the Nuggets.
Cavaliers.
I'll say Nuggets, Suns, and then.
I thought about saying Donovan Mitchell for the MVP, but it's like nah.
The Bucks could have one of the best records. I think the Bucks will have the best record in the East.
Do you see Donovan Mitchell having like a really good season?
I just think
they got a good team though. They got Darius Garland. They got a lot of other pieces too. So it's like
I think if you're the most valuable player, unless like you're doing so much offensively, it's ridiculous. Then you need some defense, and Donovan Mitchell doesn't have that.
Yeah, and also he has like they just have a well-rounded team, and he's the best player. He's not like
he's their scorer. He's like
Darius Garland is another guy that's really good on the team.
That's the thing because you can just like they're a duo, so you can just and Jared Allen can grab boards. Like Donovan
Evan Mobley, they're a good team.
His role is just a scorer, so I don't think he'll win MVP.
Bro, yeah, and I don't think Booker's going to be MVP.
Booker probably won't. No. Yeah, so the last thing, like again, like you said, Giannis won't because Dame's there, but they could be the best team in the East. I think the Bucks would be honestly.
Maybe Bucks and Suns rematch. You never know.
Oh,
that could be good.
Maybe without Chris Paul this time. Well, I forgot Chris Paul's on the Warriors now, so maybe.
Oh, he is. Yeah, and then Jordan Poole's on the Wizards.
Yeah, he's on the Wizards, but I don't think the Wizards. I think the Wizards are going in the right direction because they also traded Porzingis. The Celtics could be because they got Porzingis.
Forgot about that. They could be up there too.
Okay, so Celtics, Bucks, Nuggets, or Suns. That's my prediction
for the top 2 each conference.
Yeah,
I think I agree. I don't see the Sixers being good. Yeah, I agree.
They got especially because they lost. They're literally the same team without.
What about the Jazz? Are they gonna be good? They'll be all right.
They'll be decent. They
Clippers.
could make the. I think the Jazz would be a lower playoff seed.
I feel like the Clippers are one of those teams where like you think they're going to be good, but they're not.
Why is just injured? What do they? What do they always? There's that meme of like a healthy Clippers team.
The Kings are like a sleeper.
They could.
The Kings are like the Cavaliers. Like they're like a sleeper good team, kind of.
They have experience. They just need to know how to play in the playoffs.
Honestly, what about the Cavaliers though? I think they could be one of the top 3-4 seed.
Cavaliers.
If they stay healthy.
The Cavs.
They're good, bro.
Yeah, no,
they're on the upswing. Like, they got a good young core.
I think they could be a top 3 seed in the East, but there's so much competition. It's ridiculous.
It is, yeah. I guess I think Luka and Jokic are probably like the MVP frontrunners. We could probably look it up and see what the analysts are saying, but I think those are probably going to be the top 3. Them two and Giannis. It's pretty much the foreign players at this point.
Yeah, I could see them probably saying the same thing.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, because
it's clear cut who the best players in the league are. It's just hard to distinguish each of them. Because
all the MVPs that are American are older now, like LeBron, KD, Curry, Harden, Westbrook. They're all older now. So it's who's going to be the next American MVP? That's the question. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball.
Anthony Edwards would be a big in the future.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jason
Tatum might be the best American young guy.
Yeah, right now, possibly.
Or Donovan Mitchell's up there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jason Tatum.
Yeah. We'll just have to see where it goes. But
Jimmy Butler, no. Zion, if he stayed healthy, would be amazing, but...
Or if he stopped, doing the thing with porn stars.
Got in trouble, yeah. Even a guy like a Lowry Marketing, he's a really good foreign player.
Yeah, well, that's what I would say. Lowry Marketing would be a future possible MVP candidate. Exactly.
He's
finished.
Basketball is the second most popular sport on the planet Earth, I think. Or cricket, but basketball is more global than cricket if you think about it, though.
Basketball's starting to Basketball's starting to get more. I mean, it's already been global, but it's starting to really become more global in other territories where it's not really played.
There's huge initiatives going on, like NBA Europe and everything, and even in Asia, Africa, because cricket's half the world it's huge, but the other half of the world doesn't care.
That's the thing. Yeah. I want to know how to play cricket. I just have no idea. I think more people. And basketball's an easier game. Basketball's an easier game to learn.
Is cricket hard to play?
Cricket is literally just baseball, but you're on a tee, and it's you're running. You're running in a different direction. Because you're literally just going. Yeah, you're running back and forth.
We'll learn cricket to expand our Indian market.
Yes, the Indians also came out with lacrosse. They taught the.
You mean Native American? Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The other Indians, not the Indians from India.
Yes. They were from India at one point. The Native Americans, the Ice Age, because everybody.
That long ago, yeah.
Yeah, everybody here's an immigrant at some point.
Yeah, I thought you meant lacrosse came out of India, with Taj Mahal.
No, but, well, I don't know when it
I think it's Canadian.
It might. I think it is Canadian. They brought it down to the States, but they were teaching the British how to do it during the French and Indian War. It was pretty cool.
Man, that's crazy. I think it came from Canada, if I'm not mistaken. Indigenous Canadians, I think, if I believe.
They play butts up with the rifle if they lose.
But it's crazy though, because cricket is the second most popular sport, and no one knows anything about it here in America.
Yeah. Well, you're saying cricket?
I believe it's the second most popular sport in the world, just because
it's super popular in the world. It's like soccer. It's super popular in the world, but it's not really here. It's starting.
I think it's a little bit different though, because soccer is all over the place. India, it's really popular in really populated places, but then some countries don't even care.
Facts.
Soccer, people care to a degree everywhere.
True, everybody knows a little bit about soccer.
But cricket's kind of this part of the world, yes, this part of the world, no.
Yeah. I mean, soccer is some dedicated fans, but with people when they know cricket, they really know cricket.
Yeah.
But yeah, So MVP Rookie of the Year.
We could do Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, I was gonna say Sixth Man. I think first, right?
Sixth Man. Okay, that'd be a good one.
Who would be a good sixth man? Who is a sixth man? An impactful sixth man.
Austin Reeves. Okay, Austin Reeves. I would have said Austin Reeves, but he starts.
Yeah, or he's gonna start this year. I would pull if Lonzo Ball comes back healthy. He's probably gonna be a sixth man.
Yeah, that is a good question. Who is a good sixth man? I'm just going through all the rosters.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. It's got to be somebody that has an all-star, or a star player in one position, and they just have a really good.
I could see it being a player from the Heat. I don't know why.
I think Jordan Clarkson would be, but he starts. I think he starts for the Jazz.
Maybe someone on the Nuggets. No.
Anybody on the Nuggets? Who's the sixth man for the? Wait, is Monte Morris starts, right? Monte Morris.
Well, Cavaliers. Do they have any sixth man? No.
They're not any star-studded bench players where you're how is this guy a bench player? Yeah, nobody like a JJ Redick or anything.
I honestly can't tell for that one. I don't know.
Oh, Chris Paul might be. He might be.
Oh, because he's a little older, yeah. Behind Curry.
Well, they said Chris Paul will be the backup.
Oh, okay.
The Warriors explicitly say that. So again, this is the first time he's ever been a backup. So I think I'm going to put in my hat in the ring for Chris Paul.
No, that's a good one. I honestly I can't think of anyone else, so I'll agree. I can't think of another player.
I'm trying to think of some. Well, DeJounte Murray starts.
I'll have to look up because I don't even know because sometimes they change the lineup, so it's hard to tell who starts and who doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look through each team's lineup and then make that assessment.
That's a good point. I'd have to go through every single lineup. Yeah. But who then you go DPOI.
Defensive player of the year. Wembanyama. Low key, bro. You can block anything.
Sure, if he's a Manu Bull, he's just gonna go off.
Wembanyama's a really good defensive player. Marcus Smart actually won it. Marcus Smart, he already won though.
I'll throw Wembanyama as the rookie. Actually, I'm gonna say Brandon. Since you say Wembanyama, I'm gonna say Brandon Miller for rookie of the year.
I thought you said Brandon Ingram. Brandon Miller's good at defense.
Is Brandon Ingram a sixth man?
He's like a small forward. I don't know. He's probably
Miller's decent.
Hornets might be good with LaMelo, Ingram, and Miles Bridges coming back.
Yeah. Or wait, you said Miller, Miles Bridges. Yeah, they'll have a really good front court.
They could be a playoff.
They're all known more for their off court stuff sometimes. They're in their on court, like LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo's at least controversial of the three of them somehow.
Brandon Miller's okay because
of the shell shooting thing. Yeah.
Brandon Miller. What happened?
He wasn't. I don't think he shot anyone, but he was at the site of a shooting. Yeah.
I think I heard about that. Which college did you go to?
Alabama.
I think I heard about that. There was shooting in Brandon. Wait! Oh my god.
LaMelo's had some controversies, but it's been a little bit, not too bad.
Brandon Miller's the reason Mizzou could not win a game against
Miles Bridges definitely had some controversy though.
To say the least.
I do have a question for you though. Who do you think has the more potential? Who do you think's going to have a better NBA career between Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball? I actually like Anthony Edwards a lot.
Anthony Edwards is going to be better.
Anthony Edwards, I think, is going to be better.
You literally saw it. They were the Timberwolves barely had anybody. They were the 8th seed, and Anthony Edwards almost beat the Nuggets each game. He single-handedly.
Yeah, he was playing better than Gobert and Gobert and Towns.
If there was a playoff MVP, I'd throw it to Anthony Edwards. He did everything.
Or a playoff newcomer kind of thing.
Literally. Well, he did everything he could to save the Timberwolves. It was a lost cause.
Yeah, that's true.
Because even Gobert was supposed to be good this season, he's been okay, and they just.
I just think Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns are a bad duo.
They just can't. Yeah, they can't coincide. And also, Karl-Anthony Towns is not taking this. Anthony Edwards was what Karl-Anthony Towns was supposed to be to the Timberwolves.
Different position, but yeah, I know what you mean. Impact wise, yeah.
Franchise level, yeah.
Low key,
franchise player.
I think Gobert is kind of the problem. Before they had Gobert, they were a pretty good duo.
But they can't just trade him because then they would see they'd show the world that was a wrong trade.
Yeah,
and they also gave up 4 first-round picks.
Dude, Gobert is so overrated. I know he's really good at defense, but I think he's overrated, bro.
Yeah, well, he just needs to be in the right. The Jazz use in a perfect system.
Yeah,
he needs to be the center, and he needs to be on his own.
He's just not a good fit for the modern way of playing basketball.
Obviously he's going to get exposed for not shooting the 3. That's a disadvantage.
He just can't shoot. Yeah, I mean he can play defense. That's good, but you got to be able to shoot a little bit.
Of course.
Bam Adebayo can shoot a little bit. Ben Simmons is working on it.
Yeah. Well, I was if you have a team full of scorers, you need a guy like Gobert.
Wembanyama can shoot, and he's 7'5".
True. Well, Wembanyama can do everything. That's why everybody's just so insane about him. But
he's playing on a Nerf mini hoop.
That's probably how he feels, bro.
Yeah.
Just put that in right there.
When we were little kids,
he's got the ball that's only this big, and he's.
When we were little kids, we were playing on our room in the Nerf mini hoop. We pretend to be Michael Jordan or Wilt Chamberlain. That's probably how Wembanyama feels against actual pros, bro.
Bro, he's doing step backs with the tiny ball from half court or some shit. Ridiculous.
I could actually see him having a good. I could see him not getting in trouble. I don't think he's gonna be in trouble.
Wembanyama, what was it? I didn't really look into Wembanyama interviews until you're man, Wembanyama's a really humble guy, and I was interesting. I should look at bro. Dude is humble. Dude's
he's got his head on his shoulders.
He's got a good head on his shoulder. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He just wants to do his.
And he's got Greg Popovich too.
He just wants to do his thing. He's got a perfect mentor. He just wants to do everything he can.
Tim Duncan could be a good mentor for him too.
What does Tim Duncan do now? Is he a consultant for the Spurs?
It's Tim Duncan. I don't fucking know.
I mean, I can see him coming back. Spurs reunion every once in a while. But also,
Tim Duncan is. I love Tim Duncan. He's one of the best players of all time. But he's the most forgettable top 10, top 15 player of all time.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Well,
very boring style.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. He's a very boring. He's probably one of the most boring players in the NBA. But he's so
Best power forward of all time, though.
Like his you can't forget about his. People just don't forget about his stats. Like what he did for the game too.
Yeah.
Well, because also he gave D-Rob his last ring.
Here's a good, interesting debate. Because who do you think's better? Like, I think Hakeem Olajuwon is individually a better player than Tim Duncan, but Tim Duncan has the better resume. They're different positions, but they're both big man, and they're kind of in the similar ranking spot. I feel like.
The Rockets just had a really tumultuous time in the 90s. It was ridiculous.
Hakeem is underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, underrated.
He's rated
Hakeem gets so much respect, though.
I mean, he does, but it's like he had a quadruple double. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say I feel like he's the most underrated in the top 15.
Yeah. Well, like when you even like okay. To be fair, like. When you get to top 10...
Or Larry Bird. Larry Bird's somewhat underrated, too.
There's just some guys that don't get mentioned in the top 10. You're like, how can they not get mentioned?
Like, obviously he's highly renowned because he's one of the best players of all time, but I think he's kind of like... I think he's slept on. I think he would have been... Like, in this era, I think Hakeem would have been even better.
Yeah, well, I think a guy like Dirk would be better in this era.
Yeah, because it's more spacing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Larry Bird...
spacing now.
I think Larry Bird would be better in this era than Magic Johnson.
Facts, yeah. Larry Bird better than Magic in this era?
Because he could shoot and defend and everything.
To be fair, there are also a lot more taller point guards now. But I think
it'd be interesting though. They'd both be.
Magic would be more valuable down on your team. Bird would just be the guy putting up better stats.
Because Larry could pass too. He was a good team player too.
Larry could do everything. Yeah.
I think Larry and Hakeem out of the top 15 players. I think Oscar Robertson's kind of underrated too, but they all get their respect. Like there's a difference.
But also rings matter. Rings matter a lot. Oscar Robertson didn't get his ring until he was with Kareem.
Which is why I think he's underrated.
Also, well, same with Hakeem. He didn't get his rings.
He got 2 rings, yeah.
He got to the finals in '86, which everyone forgets about. And then he had those back-to-backs after Jordan retired.
And it's like if Giannis ends up doesn't get another ring, where's he going to fall in the rankings? Because Giannis is like a top. I know you don't agree with me, but I think he's top 30 all time. I think he's really good. 2 MVPs, 1 ring.
I just think he needs more time. Well, that's the thing. I know it's more than a lot of other guys, but
same with Jokic. I think they're both top 40 all time.
Yeah, I just think like there's guys in the top 30, top 40 that have a bunch of rings. They have a bunch of they have way more all-stars.
Like Charles Barkley doesn't have a ring. Karl Malone, John Stockton. Like where are they going to rank? Just because of
but they don't really get put in like that top 20, top 25.
They get put in the top 20, top 30. Those guys.
John Stockton, not as much. Charles Barkley, just because he was really good.
John Stockton should. He was.
He should, yeah, but people just don't think of John Stockton.
So he's probably underrated then.
Yeah, and Karl Malone, just because they think more of his off-court stuff than.
Karl Malone was also 3rd all time in leading points too.
Was he?
He's the 3rd all time in points
after LeBron.
After Kareem.
Well, because now it's LeBron,
Kareem, and Karl Malone.
I thought. Oh, really? Wow. Not even Jordan, because Jordan didn't play long.
No, he had shorter. Jordan
played so long. I forgot.
Jordan, Kobe, and Wilt Chamberlain were like after that. I think in points.
Well, that's the thing because you need to be an elite player
Dirk's
for a long time. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. People forget about Dirk. I mean, he had 1 ring, but
here's a good question: who would you rank higher all time, Dirk or Dwayne Wade? That's kind of a hard one.
How many rings does Dwayne Wade have?
Rings are part of it. Rings aren't the only criteria, though. Yeah. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, Bill Russell has 11 rings. He's not the best all time.
Well, that's the only reason here's the thing. Because Wilt Chamberlain to me...
Robert Horry has, 7 rings.
It's always, Robert Horry be better than AI. Like, I was literally just thinking about it a couple days ago. Like, that's
Allen Iverson or, Dennis Rodman or whatever, for example.
Exactly, yeah. Wait, Dennis Rodman had ring. I'm
just saying, because of the rings. Like, there's, different criteria.
But then again, Dennis Rodman was underrated. Like, his rebounding was just,
he's really, top 50 all time, top 75.
I think, each individual member of the Bulls, they wouldn't have been able to be a dynasty like they did without any of those guys. They needed Rodman. They needed Rodman. They needed Pippen. They needed Jordan. Nobody could play without the.
I'd probably put Pippen top 30.
Pippen would be up there, yeah. Well, because people also forget he led the Bulls to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks. In the Game 7, they lost.
I think
as the best player.
I think Pippen had to be great because of Jordan. Think about it, because if Pippen was on another team and there was no Michael Jordan to push him, I don't think Pippen would have been that great. At least compared to what he is now.
Yeah, well, he just...
he had to do good, bro, because Michael Jordan's we need to get a ring.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I just don't think Scottie had the mindset of, winning a ring. Or in the sense, he didn't have the mindset of, what Jordan... Obviously, a guy like Jordan, but, the take over a team mindset. He wasn't trying to take over a team. He was...
He was kind of passive. He's kind of like a Kawhi Leonard a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean,
probably
Kawhi
not
was,
as good.
well, but Kawhi was like the leader. Like everyone knew he was the leader of the Raptors. He carried them to a finals.
Yeah, he was just like led by example. He wasn't really a vocal leader, but
yeah,
I'd say he was probably like a
also that
second
Philly
option.
That Philly shot kind of helped.
He was like a second option version of Kawhi Leonard, kind of, because he was a really good two-way player.
Yeah,
kind of just I mean, yeah,
but he was one of those. Because here's the thing: there have been so many there have been so many number twos in history that could lead their own team to a playoffs. But Scottie was one of those guys where he could be a number one that could lead their team to a champ. His potential would have been like his pure talent.
It depends on who he goes up against. Like if he was going against the Utah Jazz, then no. But it depends on.
Or he almost beat the Knicks. Were so good in the mid-90s. They were so good. I mean, they weren't as good as the Jazz, but
maybe he would have been able to like compete against like the Sonics or the Blazers or something. But
yeah,
the Suns were good.
For example, like the week if he was in the 2000s when the Eastern Conference was super weak, he would have gotten to the finals if he was the number one.
But then he would have lost to like Spurs or Lakers though.
Yeah, he would have gotten swept somehow. Like when the Cavs got swept, when the Cavs got swept by the Spurs because they're the only good team. Or the only good
2007,
player. Yeah, or had one great player in the middle.
Because Kobe and Jordan, they would have gone. They were close to getting to like facing each other in the finals from like 2008 to 2010, but the Cavs never made it past like the Celtics and the Magic.
Oh, LeBron! You're saying LeBron, Kobe?
Yeah, because when the Lakers won in 2009 and 2010, the Cavaliers were like. They lost to the Celtics. They lost to like the Magic in the conference finals. So LeBron and Kobe almost went head to head.
Yeah, wait. What in 2009 though? The Celtics, Kevin Garnett got injured.
2009, it was the Magic and the Lakers.
I forgot about that. That there was like 2 years where Dwight Howard was just an absolute he was a stud for like maybe 7 or 8, but he was an absolute like legend.
He's a Hall of Famer for sure.
He's a future Hall of Famer, but like he's. Like those 2 years, like he was untouchable almost.
From when he was drafted, like he had a good like almost 10 years of playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he had like 7 or 8 years where he was very dominant, Dwight. But those two like 2009 to 2010, like he was the guy.
He was like a top 5 player in the league.
Like people put him up with LeBron.
Yeah, no, they were like it was like Kobe, LeBron, and maybe Dwight Howard was up there. Dwayne Wade was really good. Steve Nash was good. Dirk.
Yeah. Well, Steve Nash was starting to wind a little bit down.
He was more mid-2000s, probably.
Yeah, the Mavs weren't as good.
Dirk was really good, though.
Well, this was this was right before they got old Jason Kidd, before they got Sean Marion, or Jason Terry was on the team, before they built that 11.
Before the 2011, yeah. Which LeBron, worst performance by a superstar ever in a finals. Not even debate. That was terrible.
Bro, well, that was because I was talking to you about bad teacher. You remember, like he was getting in the argument with that kid. He's like Michael Jordan had 6 rings, and LeBron can't even get one. He can't even get one. He's like, I don't need an argument. That's the only argument I need.
That's hilarious. Yeah, people like to say like LeBron went to 8 straight finals, but he lost 5 of them, and he was going against great teams. LeBron is the number 2 player of all time, in pretty much most people's opinions. I don't know about you, but
how do you feel like even recently now that like he got swept by the Nuggets?
He's 38, bro. I don't think that doesn't affect his legacy, in my opinion. The Nuggets won it all, so it's like.
Yeah, but they could have taken one game. They could have taken one game.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's not going to affect his legacy, though. It's not going to affect his legacy.
I think people already forgot about it.
Yeah, it's LeBron. Like he's got 4 rings. He's got 4 MVPs. Number 1 scoring. He's going to be like top 10 in rebounds and assists, I believe, all time.
True.
So all around player.
Wait, he's going to be top 10 assists. Well, not assists, right?
All time. I think he's up there in the top 10. He's up there.
Yeah. He's top. Yeah. You're talking about like a top 10
all time in assists.
Top 10 all time assists.
And
top
rebounds.
10 in rebounds. Top 10. Number 1 in points.
And then defense too. Like he was a really good defensive player. He almost.
He's never won DPOY though, which I don't know. Maybe he's still got time.
He came close though. In
2011, I think. Marcus 2013 was his best year, but Marcus Gasol took it.
2013,
which I think he earned it.
2013 was LeBron's best season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That was LeBron. That's like the best version of
Heat, yeah.
That was the best version of a player I think I've ever seen in my life.
Well, then to be fair though, he's so effective on the Cavs too. I can't tell when LeBron was best individually. When he got back with the Cavs or when he was on the Heat. I really don't know.
I think in my personal opinion, it's 2013 LeBron because he had the physicality and he had like the mental acuity.
Yeah, true. He didn't
he had more defense.
He didn't lose weight when he went to the Cavs, but he
was older, so he wasn't as He wasn't a defensive.
He wasn't as
threat.
bulky.
He wasn't as much of a defensive threat as much too.
Yeah,
in 2016.
You see, like if you go into like the Cavs LeBron when he went back, like he was still like big and strong, but he wasn't like you see like Heat LeBron, like dude was like.
Okay.
He was ripped.
2012, 2013 LeBron was his like peak, I think.
Yeah. He was like he was shredded and he could just play his ass off. Like it wasn't even a question.
Like you could make the argument, I mean, there's other players you can make the argument for, but you can make the argument that LeBron is like the best all-around player.
Yeah, well, I'd say Jordan though because he's won more DPOIs.
I just say you can make the argument. Because LeBron's a better passer than Jordan. I think Jordan's a better player. But there's a difference between like you can make the argument that Stalin's worse than Hitler, but people think Hitler's worse, you know? Some people said now. I think it's changed now.
I think it's Stalin. But I think that's what I'm saying. I think it's changed now, where people were like, "Oh shit, Stalin actually just killed 1 million people. Like more, like 10. Like he killed way more people than Hitler did. But Hitler focused on a target.
Like you could even make an argument. Like there's a difference between like making an argument and like saying that he is like the concrete best. Like you can make an argument for like Kareem being the best player, but I don't think Kareem's the best player. You know what I'm saying?
Kareem is. I feel like he gets swept under the rug. I don't want to say he's underrated, but he gets swept under the rug.
I got him number 3 all time. I have my personal list.
I gotta make my list, but I just know it's for me top 3. It's Wilt, Michael, and LeBron.
I would say Wilt's the best athlete that ever played.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put him as the number 1 player though. He's in my top 10 though.
Athlete, but he just true. I mean, he's like
he was definitely a really good player. Don't get me wrong. I think I got him
like he didn't stand out in any way, but just the fact that he was his athleticism, like
he was very good.
Tall, like
and another thing with Wilt is Bill Russell, like he couldn't have. I mean, I know earlier I was saying like rings aren't everything, but if he had a little bit more rings, it would add more validity to his argument. He did lead the league in assists 1 year, which is very impressive.
He could probably went to another team or something, but like that first 10 years was just all Bill Russell and the Celtics just shitting on him. But like they did have I think 1 year where they beat him, but also
and it's like you can't.
But then exactly. But
he can't control that though. Sorry to interrupt you, but he can't control what era he plays in.
Well, that's
the thing. He he played against a bunch of farmers. Okay, but like that wasn't like in his control. That's just like when he was alive.
Like, that's it. But there were still you had
there were still 6'10" guys playing though.
Yeah, exactly. And even nowadays, like everybody shoots from the 3, and everybody can't play defense. So it's like there's different. You're gonna have different gripes with different things in different eras.
Because like for a period of time, like Wilt was kind of like a Kobe Bryant, where like they were like, oh, I gotta have like good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get the numbers out of their system. Like when Kobe in like the mid 2000s, when they had a bad team, like in between, like they had Shaq and Pau Gasol. The Lakers, it was pretty much just Kobe like putting up crazy numbers. He's like, I need to get inside my system. I need to be like Allen Iverson right now, or James Harden, or Russell Westbrook. Some players are just like that,
Well, literally. Yeah. Well, but also it's like again, like if you didn't want to move to another team, like then at that point you're just like, the only thing I can do now to prove to the world that I'm good is put up numbers.
I got Kobe and Wilt in like 6'7" range.
Do you feel like people forget about those tumultuous Lakers years with Kobe because like his numbers weren't like they were really really good, but they weren't like jaw dropping like Wilt's were. Like 35 points is a lot. But but Jordan also averaged like 30 some points, 50 points. Who in the world has averaged 50 points?
It's just because of the era was so different. I think.
I mean, it could possibly part of it is the farmers, but
no, I just think it's the difference in the way the game's played. Because wasn't the game a lot like?
Oh, it's a lot faster. But it's starting to get faster now because Adam Silver wants the game to be faster.
The 2000s was actually fairly defensive era too.
Very defensive, yeah.
So like 2005.
I don't know. I'd say nowadays everybody's so defensive about stuff.
Yeah, exactly, bro. People get defensive.
So either era is very defensive.
Well, like, I'd say like 2005 to like 2007. That's like when Kobe was kind of just like, fuck it, I'm gonna put up good crazy numbers, and my team sucks.
It was what was that guy?
Like Smush. They had like
Smush Parker was Smush Parker. Smush Parker was the starting point guard.
They had Kwame Brown.
Luke
Walton might have been on the team.
I think he was. He's probably their starting power forward, bro. Kobe just was like, I need to just get a first round exit. Like that's.
I love Kobe, but I personally think he's a little bit overrated when it comes to like all-time rankings.
Yes,
I'd put him top 10, but not top 5.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I think he's overrated is like in his in his ranking.
Yeah,
but like I can't deny
like you can't deny greatness though.
Well, but the thing but I just forgot about like those terrible seasons with the Lakers. Like he really did keep them going. He kept them going for like another 4 or 5 years until Pau got there.
Oh yeah, I mean, like they made the playoffs. I don't know if they did.
They barely made it. Like they'd be like a 6th or 7th. Kobe was the reason they were.
Pau Gasol made a huge difference for that team.
He did. Well, they also got like key role players like Ron Artest was a Ron Artest had some big
Lamar Odom, Andrew Bynum. They had
Lamar Odom, yeah.
Derek Fisher might have been on that team.
Derek Fisher, yep.
But think about it.
Because he was remember he was all when Linsanity was like Linsanity was playing against Derek Fisher. He was oh my god.
Was that 2012, right?
No, yeah, that was like a little after, but yeah. Like,
yeah.
Started that era, but yeah, I'm sorry, but we are so pressed for time.
No, I was thinking at the same time, like we were cooking, but we were talking for so long.
Literally, it's probably we're probably recording for almost 2 hours, but yeah, like anything else you want to say?
Oh yeah, no, like we're just talking about like the great players of all time, and another thing about Kobe is and I'm not by no means am I a hater of Kobe. I think Kobe's like one of the most inspirational athletes of all time. But I think that another reason why he has 5 rings is he didn't have Shaq those first 3.
Yeah,
so that does play a role.
Yeah,
I think. It's hard for me to rank because I got Jordan 1, LeBron 2, Kareem, Magic, and Bird. I got my top 5 because what they did for the NBA was incredible. Yeah. And then Kobe and Wilt, and then it's hard to kind of rank like Shaq, Hakeem, and Tim Duncan and Bill Russell. It's hard to kind of peck them apart.
Yeah,
those are definitely the best players.
I don't even really put Bill Russell up there because of his team. He needs like
I put him in like the top 12, 15. I mean, he's got to be top. He's up there though. He deserves his respect, but like I understand.
He's really good. Yeah. I just don't know how well his team propelled him. That he was a really good
defender, really good rebounder.
He like his numbers were almost just as similar as Will's.
He just wasn't very good at scoring.
Yeah.
But then other guys like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, like when they retire, they'll probably be the top 15.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They'll be up there for
But anyway, like, yeah, we were talking a while, but it was great talking to you guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Maybe we'll have a shorter episode down the line or somewhere, where you can find a regular.
We're gonna start editing soon, you guys, so shorter segments, like 20-minute episodes. Or not 20-minute segments, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll have like more like highlighted topics or something like that for like individual videos or something.
We could like chop it up and release it in different segments. That'd be good.
Chop it up. Yeah. Or also as well
like what Joe Rogan does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, like all those big podcasters, they always have the exactly.
Attention span.
Well, true, yeah.
1970. If this was the 1980s, like everybody would watch this, but now it's 2023, so people have the shorter attention spans.
You know the loyal fans. I'll stay till here at this point. Yeah. But also, we're gonna try to post on other social media platforms as well. Like I know we're trying to not getting on Rumble, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and staying with us, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace. Have a good one.
Sports Matrix out.